Hello everybody and welcome back to the greatest live show of all time. That is right everybody. Today we're doing yet another episode of Dead Channel Maxing. That is right everybody. It's like algorithm maxing, but you know, my channel is dead if you know what I'm saying. Unfortunate, I know, but it's the reality. It's a fact. It's the reality of the matter. What can I say? I know, it's so sad. With that being said, I hope you're all doing well. For any of the VOD watchers, I will be including timestamps in the description below, so if you want to skip around, feel free to do so. And, yeah, I guess this is the beginning segment. Hello, Phoenix. Hello, Randy S. Nuggetman, Desmond, Lime. Very good to see you all. Hello, everybody. Hello, Anon420 Cereal. It's very good to see everybody here. What can I say? What can I say? Hello, Jay the Therian. Very good to see you. Very good to see you. Hello, Cam Creates. I think this might be the first time seeing you, but welcome, welcome. Hello, Hasso Bass. I hope you're doing well. Good day, Femyoz. Olive did a racist anti-trans rant recently. Well, that's unfortunate. Why would she do that? Well, probably because, well, let's just say, she has a tendency to have really bad opinions for whatever wacky reason. But chat, we're going to be going over a video today. Is this a new shirt? You better believe it is. Before we get into the main meat, the main topic, I guess is what I would call it, all right? I guess I'll do a fit check, all right? A little bit of a fit check, okay? So, for anybody wondering what I'm wearing, okay? So, it's actually, okay, so I'm wearing this, like, crop top thingy, okay? And then underneath it is fishnets, and then underneath that is my bra, obviously. And then you've got this skirt, classic, certified hood classic. I've got these thigh-high thingies, all right? Very based, very epic, very red-pilled. Hello, Observer. Very good to see you again. Hello, Daniel Barry, 33. Nate.jpg. Yeah. Olive being a cartoon villain, as per usual. You better believe she is. Seeing that title, you know I had to watch. Hell yeah. We're going to get into that in a second, all right? Because, we're going to be watching something called X-Drag Hooker Explains How He Developed Gender Dysphoria. Now, for those of you who may not know, Almost False is the YouTube channel that this comes from. And, it's been a hot minute since we've, made fun of their content. And, you know, I want to go back to my roots, I guess you could say. The things I did initially for algorithm maxing to blow up my channel or whatever the hell, which is reacting to this weird Christian conservative delusional content like this, where it's like, actually, I was transgender, but then Jesus made me straight and cisgender instead because I prayed to the Lord. And my gender confusion disappeared. But, yeah, Almost False, more like entirely false, yeah. Is this the one where the guy turned straight because of Jesus? You better believe it is. My most popular stream on my channel is literally called, in quotation marks, How Jesus Made Me Straight, I think. I could be wrong on that. Hold on. Let me go to the Femyoz YouTube channel, okay, and sort my past streams by most popular, okay? Because I think that's the most reliable way of you know, so right now we're doing one called How Jesus Cured My Transgenderism, okay? Now, my most popular stream is a little under 6.5 hours long with 158,000 views called How Jesus Made Me Straight from over 4 months ago. And, you know, I decided, you know what, let's do the sequel, okay? It's finally time that we do the sequel that you've all been waiting for, okay? And go back to my roots. So, with that being said, before we get started, make sure to smash like, everybody. We're currently streaming in front of 61 of our closest friends and family, but we only have 15 likes. Chat, can we fix that? I'm just saying, we double tap, it's free, it's easy, there's no logical reason not to do it, it boosts me in the algorithm. I'm just saying, I know that you, yes, you, the person watching right now, have not double tapped your screen. It's time for you to fix that. Why be cured when you can come? That's an amazing question. Conservatives be like, I want to talk about gay homosexual sex to little kids and tell them about how evil it is. No, literally. And it's like, damn, you sure you don't have anything better to do with your life? Hello, Florida man. Good to see you again. Oh, man, I'm running out of breath already. What can I say? Anyways, the Lord passionately cured my transgenderism. Hey, yo, what do you mean by that? But, yeah, hopefully you're all doing well. Hello, Femyoz. Hello, Joanne. Hope you're doing well also. But, yeah, with that being said, let me take a little drink of water, a little swig. All right, this live stream is sponsored by the greatest beverage of all time, H2O. That is right, everybody. So I'm going to be drinking that, and then we'll get started. All right? Folks, make sure to drink lots of H2O. It's very delicious. Hello, Bunax. He's saying, W Femyoz, I couldn't possibly agree more, and why, thank you. Water pog, hell yeah. But yeah, we're going back to our roots today. All right, we're a little under 5 minutes into the stream, so I don't know. Do we do more just chatting, or do we get straight into the content? Oh dear, chat disconnected. Chat, am I lagging? I better not be lagging. I'm gonna be very sad if I am. Okay, never mind. It looks fine. It said chat disconnected for a quick second there, alright? Hydration maxing, you better leave we are. Oh my goodness gracious, we have 133 people watching. Yo, hello, new viewers. We're gonna be talking about how, basically Jesus made me leave transgenderism, okay? He cured me from the woke mind virus. I'm so excited. Who else is excited to learn about how I've been cured from the woke mind virus? I know I sure am. Watching this high is crazy. Well, goddamn. Imagine watching it sober. That would also be crazy. I mean, it's crazy no matter what. What can I say? But yeah, chat, we're gonna be curing ourselves of the woke mind virus today, okay? So, with that being said, the video we're gonna be watching is called Ex-Drag Hooker Explains How He Developed Gender Dysphoria. Oh boy, he developed gender dysphoria, really. He didn't start out with it, but he magically developed it over time. Well, let's find out how this happens, okay?
I started shaving my eyebrows off. I felt like this is who I was always meant to be.
Alright, hold on a minute. Alright, first of all, we gotta see. Alright, how good did this person look,
I started
okay?
shaving my eyebrows off.
Shaving your eyebrows off, I mean, me personally, I just pluck them a little bit. So, this is what he looks like now.
Like this is...
Dude, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell if he looked better or worse. This is the photo you chose, which, I mean, fair enough, but like, Jesus Christ, could you make it any more deep fried? Why did you turn the contrast all the way up? Now I can't even see what he used to look like. Is this even him? I don't even know. It could be fake for all we know.
Who I was always meant to be. I was like tormented inside because I wanted to be a girl one day and I wanted to be a boy the next. I started...
Sounds a lot like you're, I don't know, gender fluid, if I must say so myself.
Getting more active and dressing more as a woman, living the lifestyle of, I guess you could say, heavy drag, just living like that every
Okay, so you were a drag queen.
I kind of went into that place where I made up a decision in my mind where I wanted to be a woman.
I'm gonna be completely real here. The little background music for the intro is way too fucking loud. It's kind of difficult to hear what he's saying.
Hello.
I think I'm banned. Why would you think you're banned?
Welcome back to the Almost False podcast, Ryan's for regular people with incredible stories.
Oh, dude, incredible stories that are almost not even real. Whoa, that's crazy.
Today's guest is someone who has struggled with gender identity his whole life. Feeling rejected by everyone, he eventually decided to live as a woman, and that lasted for over a decade.
You're implying it's because he was rejected by everybody. Like, as if that's not completely illogical.
During which his life spiraled downwards, and he became a...
Dude, it's the classic downward spiral. Transgenderism made my life spiral downwards. Oh, no.
Hooker. That was until something miraculous happened, and...
Oh, dude, I wonder if it's... Is that when he finds Jesus? And then Jesus cures him of the woke Mayan virus? Holy
turned his
shit,
life
bro.
around. His name is Tommy, and here is the story of how he developed gender dysphoria.
So living there, especially with a large family, like I was always close to my mother and my sister.
I'm sorry, but if your name is Tommy John, all right, look at this shit. Look at this
living
shit.
there, especially with
Tommy John. Am I meant to trust somebody named fucking Tommy John? You have two first names as your full name. I already don't trust
a large family. Like I was always close to my mother and my sisters. So I was always embraced by women.
Obviously, that's because he's transgender. You know, if you're close to people that are women and you're a guy, then that means you're transgender and you're falling for the woke mind virus.
And I just felt a closeness to them. I felt accepting towards them. I just felt this nurturing, loving towards the aspect of a woman or a mother figure or a lady figure in my life, to where it kind of really put me in a place of starting to take on the characteristics of feminism. You know,
feminism? I don't think he knows what the word feminism means. He became a staunch feminist. He was advocating in favor of women's rights. Hold on. I'm sorry. What?
Place of starting to take on the characteristics of feminism.
Okay, what characteristics of feminism? You know, the feminist movement. Was your mom a feminist and then you became a feminist, or are you just misusing words here? Feminism.
You know, dealing with being around ladies all the time, to where a lot of my gesturing started showcasing to other people how I was moving, how I was sounding. And again, I'm a young age, don't really know terminology in regards to homosexual or gay.
Gee golly, if only there was some sort of solution to that. If only there was a mechanism through which people can learn certain terminology that might be useful. If only people were taught at a younger age what these things mean. Wouldn't that be crazy?
I get at that time, certain language was used. I didn't have the grid for it. I didn't understand it. As far as in just dealing with my gesturing, a lot of it had to really deal with my surroundings, being around women all the time, young girls, girl figures, friends. If I did have friends, they were always females. There was always this close connection that I had with them. I really didn't know how to socialize with other boys. I think that was...
Me personally, I just didn't know how to socialize, period. So I guess he was a few steps ahead of me.
The determining factor for me. It was just always uncomfortable to be around other masculine boys, because there's certain things I wasn't really into. I wasn't into a lot of sports. I wasn't into a lot of
Guys, I wasn't into sports, therefore I was transgender.
things that I saw other boys doing. So I just knew I liked arts, I liked craft, I liked certain things that weren't so masculine. And
Okay, well that would be an example of gender expression, right? So nothing you've explained thus far has anything to do with gender dysphoria, right? You're explaining gender expression, which is categorically different from gender identity. If it's the case that you might have some sort of more feminine sort of gender expression, but you don't identify as woman, then you're not trans, right?
and so that
I'm a cis girl and I'm into sports. No, literally. Like, these are not mutually exclusive. Like, it's like right off the bat, he's already conflating gender expression with gender identity. I
kind
guarantee
of
it.
just put a overall of just how I would move and gesture just due to my surroundings.
And how did that play out in school? Because when we're young, usually boys stick with boys and girls stick with girls, but you had more affinity with girls. So, and you had trouble speaking to boys. So how did that work out in the first few years of you going to school?
It was actually difficult because growing up in an abusive household, witnessing
In an abusive household, okay? Keep this in mind. He grew up in an abusive household. I wonder if that's why he's repressed.
physical fights between my parents and among siblings,
Yes, stereotypes equals trans. No, literally.
it really did something to me to where I really didn't know how to socialize with people. So if anybody wanted to conversate with me, they would have to come up to me and start the conversation. I just didn't know how. I wasn't outgoing like that. I didn't
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I'm still not that outgoing.
know how to go up to people and make new friends. So it was very difficult, especially being in grade school, because I always felt like I was awkward. I always felt like I was weird. I just didn't.
Honestly, same. I was the weird kid in grade school and middle school and high school and currently. So yeah, I mean, I guess I can relate to him there. I don't think that has anything to do with gender identity, though.
just didn't fit into the mold that how certain kids were moving at. There's some things that I
I didn't fit into the mold, therefore transgender. Like, what an insane conclusion to
just
come
didn't
to.
like doing. Again, back to
Like, this isn't how trans people operate. Like, it has nothing to do with whether or not you fit into the stereotypical mold.
dealing with sports and stuff like that. But when it came to making friends, that was very hard. Like as far as in like communicating here and there, but never really being around me to build a relationship with me. So school was very difficult, especially being around younger boys, dealing with the name callings and really.
I mean, yeah, that sucks. Bullying sucks. Now, for me personally, I always found that that school was both difficult and easy, okay? It was easy academically in terms of like not having to put forth much work. It was difficult in the sense that it was really fucking boring, and also I was bad at socializing.
Really antagonizing me as in regards to how I moved, how I sound, and which I didn't really even know how I was moving or how I was sounding. I was just trying to be a kid, but yet everybody else saw something else I couldn't see.
So you became more self-conscious, correct?
How did you feel at that time? Because for you, you were just being yourself.
What do you mean? How do you think? Oh, dude, I was being bullied. How do you think somebody feels if they're getting bullied
Just being
constantly?
normal. And it seems like everybody's rejecting you. How are you taking it?
Honestly, I was just living life, just doing school, just going one day at a time. And honestly, really bearing the fact that I just didn't want to do school anymore. I'd rather just be home.
Honestly, relatable. Who wants to go to school? Also, thank you, Brooke Linnett, for the 420. A beautiful fucking bastard. First donor of the stream.
So I was always looking forward to the end of the school day. Just sit.
For me, I looked forward to the end of the school day, but that's not because my home life was incredibly good. It was just school was so fucking boring.
Hear the bell ring and exit. That was like my goal. Every day was just to head home back home.
Okay. You had
The Christian NPCs are everywhere, true.
feminine mannerism, like you said.
Mannerism.
But-
Not mannerism, mannerism. It's like aneurysm, but with an M.
You had feminine mannerism, like you said.
Dude, I had a feminine mannerism.
But eventually you did
Is it because it's because he's a man. It's the mannerism.
become attracted to boys. When did you realize that?
So that dealing with attractions, that didn't come until later on. Growing up into like middle school, again, didn't really have friends. Again, the name callings continued.
That's so relatable. Imagine having friends.
I really put me in an isolation box to where I'd rather not associate with anybody. I'd rather not talk to anybody if that was going to be the outcome of any kind of interactions with people saying any kind of hurtful words towards me.
I mean, what were the hurtful words in relation to? Did it have something to do with you being more feminine, gender nonconforming? Right? These are all solvable issues, by the way. Like, if people were more educated on gender issues, then boom, there you go.
But there was one particular friend that lived in my apartment complex, and he was new to the apartment complex, and he was new
He did not say mannerism correctly. He said mannerism.
to the school. So I remember one day I was walking home, and he was walking behind me. He already knew who I was. He knew I lived in his apartment complex. But what made him different from amongst anybody else is that he looked past those things that people said about me.
Well, that's nice of him. Sounds like the protagonist.
And he wanted to build a relationship with me as far as in friendship.
Are you sure it was just a friendship, or do you think it might have been a little bit more than
was pretty much one of my first friends that I've actually had that saw past everything.
Imagine having friends. Couldn't be me.
To where I realized something's different here. Something's different with this particular individual.
Were you getting a little bit steamy? Did you have feelings for the guy?
And I started recognizing that I started having same-sex attractions at this particular age.
And how?
But guys, he's definitely not gay. He's definitely not gay. He became straight,
old was
guys.
that approximately?
This is around maybe like 7th, 8th grade. So I would say about like 13 years old.
Okay. And then things got significantly worse when it comes to the name calling and all of that when you got to high school a few years after. So can you explain how these years panned out for you in high school and how that was a big turning point in your life? Because a lot of things shifted at that point.
Yeah, it seems like my story is like always on repeat, especially in this particular time, because it was always a repeated pattern. And again, no friends. I was always the loner at school. Just
what about the guy that you said that you were friends with? This is a contradiction. I thought you said you were friends with the guy that you had same-sex attraction for. Where you like looked past that? Like what happened? Wouldn't that be like a few friends or one friend?
Attending school to where I was actually having other students come up to me after school, just tapping me on the shoulder, asking me if I'm gay. Not really answering any questions, or if they were in class with me, they just...
I mean, if they're homophobic, what do you think the reason behind that is? Like, do you think it's just like, oh yeah, I mean, it's like my fault for being too gay or whatever the fuck? Or do you think maybe it's like their fault or their parents' fault for being homophobic? Like, where do you think they learned that from? Like, where do you think they learned to be homophobic from? Like, do you think it's more likely to be the case that somebody that's saying those things, that's like making fun of you for presenting more femininely or being gender nonconforming, is going to have liberal or conservative parents? Conservative parents being the ones that, you know, are against that type of stuff, or more liberal parents that are in favor of it. If it's the case that, okay, yeah, obviously, like, no shit, the ones with more conservative parents that are anti-trans, anti-gay, etc., are more likely to bully you for being gay or appearing gay or gender nonconforming or whatever it may be, doesn't that completely destroy the entire premise of this whole video? Where it's like, yeah, clearly the people that aren't accepting are the problem.
They didn't even know me. They would just randomly walk up to me and ask me. So they were seeing something that I could not see. So school was the same pattern with the name calling, gay, faggot. So it really did something to me where I just started to like get into this place where I just started ditching school. Like, I'd rather just not be present at school if this was going to be the repeated pattern.
Like, what do you think would have prevented this? Okay, it seems like the start of where things went downhill is skipping school, correct? Like, obviously, if you're skipping school, then yeah, there's something going on, right? Clearly. So if it's the case that he's skipping school because there's something going on, and that something going on is the bullying, what do you think would have, I don't know, prevented the bullying? Do you think maybe perhaps increased acceptance of gay, queer, and gender nonconforming people, maybe perhaps, might have been beneficial? I'm just putting it out there.
Pretty much all my life in grade school, all the way leading up into high school. So I decided to start ditching school, started running away to spend time with my cousins who were females at this time. And it kind of got into me and being introduced into drugs, running away, not really attending school.
Okay, so it seems to be the case that him not attending school and starting drugs is all a byproduct of the lack of gay acceptance. So surely this would be an argument against being homophobic or in favor of increasing acceptance of queer people, right? But no, that's not the argument that they're going to make, because that would make too much logical sense for them.
So that kind of portrayed into...
They're going to somehow find a way to spin it into, actually, you see, then I found Jesus and he fixed my life.
Actually, me walking into...
Hey, Fem, this is pre-recorded, right? You better believe it is, Lime. I would never do something like this live. That would be crazy. Could you imagine? No. Clearly, it's the woke mind virus. This is true, Albert. It is the woke mind virus.
Place of doing...
You're so right.
Cocaine at this particular time.
And how old were your cousins when that was happening?
Yeah, my cousins were 16. They were 16 years old. So they were still child. They were still teens. They weren't adults, but they were talking to older gentlemen. I mean, not old, but they were maybe like in their 18s, 19 years old. But yeah, that's how I got introduced to them.
And how...
Fun fact, he wouldn't have been introduced to the drugs if people had just been more accepting of queer people at his school. The entire reason why he started ditching school and hanging out with these people and doing drugs is because he was getting bullied for being queer.
have an impact on you personally? Ditching school, getting involved with older people, starting to take drugs at a very young age. What did that do internally?
Internally, I kind of felt like I was just free just to like get away from the noise, get away from the chaos, and get away from
again, it's homophobia and people that are bullying on that basis that are causing all that noise in the first
everyone
place.
else, and just kind of, whether if it was a coping mechanism just to get away from that and just fall into something.
Again, coping mechanism for what exactly? Well, people being homophobic, people being bigoted. That's what it is.
As far as something I have control over, like I can do this, I have control over the situation. In regards to doing whether ditching school and actually doing cocaine, all that stuff.
So he went as far as to do cocaine. Once again, if it was the case that people had simply been less homophobic and more accepting, then they, I don't know, maybe perhaps he wouldn't have started fucking cocaine. Also, hello, Hoopty Scoopty. Haven't seen you in a hot minute.
I kind of feel
Good to see you here
like
again. Cocaine good though? You know, I don't know, man. I'm more of a fentanyl type of person myself.
for me
The woke left destroyed my home, yo, same.
personally, then like it was just to get away from everything. I just felt like this
Stick out your tongue is crazy.
personal.
Maybe if people weren't homophobic, he wouldn't have done crack. No, literally, like he's saying that he did drugs because people were bullying him on the basis of him being gender nonconforming, being more effeminate, etc. And people saying fucking homophobic slurs at him, calling him the F slur.
Empowerment just to like just be myself and just get away from just the noise of it all.
Hello, Ryan Cat.
So
Yeah, fentanyl over coke all the way.
at this point, I
You mean femtanol? What? Why not both?
still don't think you fully realized your sexual orientation. You had, because you said you had people asking you and they were seeing something you couldn't see.
What? Do you not have ears? He literally said that he already knew that he had same-sex attraction. That means he knew he was gay. If you are attracted to the same sex, that means that you are not straight.
But eventually you did end up embracing homosexuality.
Fucking based.
When was that, and how did your life change shortly after?
So dealing with when I started coming into a place of actually realizing that I recognized the same-sex attraction, dealing with my friend and me actually ditching school. I was still in school. I would go to school in and out.
Again, same-sex attraction isn't something that you're dealing with, okay? What you're dealing with is the societal ramifications of being that way, right?
So I didn't really start embracing it until I really started
So he was already on drugs by the time he started embracing it. Keep in mind.
questioning myself. Like, are what they saying is really true about who I am? I'm starting to believe this feeling that I'm actually bisexual or that I'm homosexual because I'm attracted to another boy.
I mean, yeah, if you're attracted to people that are the same gender as you, yeah, you're probably not
And I had a
straight.
conversation with my mom because I'm struggling internally of wanting
Oh
to
no,
say
I just tuned in and saw the topic. How heartbreaking.
something,
Yeah.
but did not really having an outlet on who to say it to. I didn't want to share it with my father. I didn't want to share it with another male figure. I
Sounds like he's already in a state of wanting to repress things, correct?
just felt comfortable sharing
As a trans woman, these stories always break my heart. Yeah,
with
same.
my mom as far as what I was feeling in this particular moment. So I remember just telling my mom that I was bisexual. I kind of wanted to leave that space open of hope. Like my son is still attracted
Of hope.
to females still. Maybe there might be a time where that might come, but I just felt like it was a lesser.
Like, why would there be hope? Like, if a parent is actually reasonable and accepting and actually loves their child, there's no hope that they become fucking straight or that they end up with a woman if they're a guy. You just accept whatever sexuality they have.
A lesser evil
Cute top. Thank you, MJ Johnson.
to say that I was bisexual, to leave that glimmer of hope. Like, okay, this is maybe not a permanent thing. This is something that he's dealing with. And she told me
Well, your sexuality is a permanent thing, right?
and she replied to me, son, I think you're in denial. I think you're struggling with your emotions. So
basically, she fucking wrote him off. Gee golly, I wonder why this guy is all fucked in the head now.
from that moment, after sharing that with my mother, like it kind of led me into a place of just embracing this motion, this thought of bisexuality, of feminism, this how I'm moving, how I'm gesturing, and I started shaving my eyebrows off. I started plucking them, drawing them on, and little by little, throughout my life, you can see the progression of where I first started and how it began to grow into dressing as and living as a woman.
So your transition timeline. Did you ever do HRT or?
So you used the word bisexual, I think, to soften the blow to when you were talking to your mom, but you didn't feel that internally. I think.
Like there shouldn't be a blow. Like if you're a fucking parent and you love your child, there shouldn't be a blow if they come out as gay or trans.
You explain. Can you go a little bit deeper into how
maybe I should pray the gay away? Yes, it notoriously works every time.
your parents felt when you revealed that? I don't know if you still had talked to your dad at that point of the story, but
The fact that his mom was the safer of the two options, and she wasn't accepting. I don't even want to begin to imagine how fucking horrible his dad was.
because I had a little bit of trouble understanding.
Why the fuck does this guy have a giraffe neck? I don't know. I mean, he has inhuman proportions, to say the very least.
When you were saying it. Was your mom supportive of the idea?
She wasn't supportive of it. So in regards to how my father,
Gee golly, I wonder why this guy had issues and went on drugs and had all this mental illness. I'm sure it's because he just didn't pray the gay away hard enough. I'm sure it's because he didn't find Jesus yet. It couldn't possibly be because of the fact that his parents don't love him for him, or the fact that he was constantly getting bullied at school for being gay.
how my father handled it when he did find out, but prior before that, during the same time, there was
Wait, 180 people, this channel is back? I think it might actually
one
be.
encounter where my father did actually say something. Again, my father was a heavy drinker. And I remember on one occasion, my father...
Oh, of course he was a heavy drinker. Gee golly, I wonder why you had issues. It must be because of the same-sex attraction that you were struggling with. Or because of transgenderism and the woke mind virus. It couldn't possibly be because your fucking family was abusive or because, you know, you were getting fucking harassed and bullied at school. Oh, no, it couldn't have anything to do with that. Or the fact that you were introduced to drugs at a very young age.
told me on one particular night, if we put up a set of camera in the house to see, pretty much record how you act and how you move, you can see that you act like a girl. And I think that was the turning point where...
The fact that that's even a point of contention. Oh, yeah, well, you act like a girl. Like, that shouldn't be like a point of contention. There's literally nothing wrong with acting more girly or feminine. Like gender expectations are fucking stupid.
I didn't expect my father to say that towards me. I didn't want to hear it from kids at school, but now I'm hearing it from my own father at home, recognizing something that
The fact that it's even like a bad thing. Oh, you're gender not conforming. The fact that that would even be a point of contention is absurd.
really couldn't see. But yeah, they were never really accepting of it. But they never really were brutal enough to like kick me out and do other stuff in regards to the...
You mean like the bare minimum of like not doing something that's literally fucking illegal? Wow. How incredibly generous of them to not literally fucking kick you out. Like they're their own child. Like that's absurd.
decision or when
the fact that this is like his level of cope, it makes me sad.
announcement when I did tell them
This is low-key sad. It's high-key sad.
how I was feeling.
And the fact that this fucking right-wing channel is taking advantage of this guy who's clearly not all there. It's like it's fucking sad.
When your dad told you that you were acting like a girl, it seemed to have a different impact than when other people were saying it. Is it because it hurt you internally when he said that?
That one definitely did hurt. It was different from everyone else because I loved my dad. I didn't love strangers, but I loved my dad. You know, he was there, he was present, he was always there. But for him,
yeah, and the fact that his own father took advantage of the fact that, well, he loves him because, it's his dad. It's like, the fact that he's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna fucking like shit on you for what? Acting more feminine? Like, heaven forbid you be yourself and not fucking mask it or pretend you're not. Like,
him to say that.
Hey Femyoz, this isn't live, right? This is true live. It's actually all pre-recorded. I just predict what people are going to say. Consider, however, that all right-wingers are mentally ill as a rule. This is true. What if I don't want to cure my autism? That's a good question. I think that's what George Soros has convinced you. All right, he clearly with the vaccines, okay, with like the vaccine mandates, it clearly gave you autism, and then therefore by proxy transgenderism.
Really did a number on me to where I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that from him.
Okay, and you mentioned that you started shaving off your eyebrows, and it gradually started moving more and more toward a feminized version of you. At some point, you got into drag, and those two things seem to be very connected. But can you explain why you gravitated towards drag? Like, what made
Probably because he's a little bit more on the feminine
it
side.
so appealing?
Yes, the vaccine gave me transgender.
When I shared with you in regards to starting shaving off my eyebrows and feminizing, at this particular time I was still in school, just again the same process of ditching school, and came into a place where I decided to drop out. I was still highly active with doing cocaine with my cousin.
So the fact of the matter is he ended up dropping out, doing all these drugs and shit, etc. All of these things that are life ruining. And You want to know the initial reason, which is something that he stated earlier in the video? He explicitly stated that it had everything to do with people that were bullying him on the basis of him being effeminate, him being a little bit fruitier, him being gender nonconforming. If people hadn't bullied him for that, he wouldn't have started drugs. He wouldn't have done cocaine. He wouldn't have done any of this ditching school. He wouldn't have dropped out.
Meeting new friends, I kind of went into a place of actually going onto a particular chat line, which is actually something that you call in on a landline phone at this time. And I was kind of introduced
Jesus Christ, this guy is ancient.
to other people who were
Landline phone.
on there, straight, gay, bi,
We're like, what are you, 50 years old?
whatever. Everybody that was on this particular chat line. And it was just really, it started off playful conversation wise, but it kind of led me into going into that place of doing drag and dressing up, because I met friends. You know, I had friends, and I met friends.
Well, that's good news. I mean, that's better than where you were before. But obviously, he started cocaine when nobody accepted him. If there were people that accepted him before he started drugs, there is a very minuscule likelihood that he would still have done it, right? Maybe he would have. I mean, it's not like a 0% chance, but if you have like an actual support network and people who accept you for who you are, you're going to be substantially less likely to do drugs.
Friends on there that really accepted me, and these individuals were in the lifestyle of homosexuality. They're in the gay community.
Attacking appearance is kind of cringe. That makes your argument look worse. All I did was make a joke about the type of phone that he was using. I didn't make a joke about his appearance. I was making a joke about like, oh, look, he's talking about an outdated piece of technology. Like, wow, what are you, 50 years old? Right?
And they were very accepting. They were very receiving of me. And not only did I meet friends, but I also met.
I thought you were calling him old and my bad. No, I was making a joke about like the technology he used. Yeah, he hasn't said anything where I feel the need to like roast his appearance or anything.
Other male individuals. Obviously, when I was on this phone chat, like my voice is very feminine at this time where I was young, at a young age. It was very feminine. So a lot of people thought I was a female. So I would
Well, lucky you. I'm jealous. Comes that naturally to you?
play the part as a female, but when I would meet people, I would let them know prior to meeting them that I was a male, that I was a guy. But
fair enough. Also, I really need to piss. I'm gonna be right back, all right? I'm gonna keep the video playing, but I really need to piss. I'm sorry.
doing drag, it kind of progressed. It just didn't happen like that. I did, again, meet gay individuals, friends on there who kind of told me certain things like, you look really pretty. You know, you look really feminine. How come you don't try dressing up? Is this something that you would think about doing? And it really put a thought in my head. You know, this is something I want to do. This is something I want to actually dive into. And from that point, it began to started stepping into doing drag at that time.
So I don't know a whole lot about drag, but one aspect that I do know about is that there's a certain kind of character that people put on when they put on drag. And I'm wondering, I don't know if that's the case, but I'm wondering, for you, was there an aspect of trying to escape the reality? Because you said when you were 13, you were trying to escape the reality of what was happening in school and all of that. Having a character, was that a part of it, or was it strictly because of what people were saying around you?
So when I stepped into that, like it was like I felt like this is who I was always meant to be. To say like this is very comfortable. I'm comfortable in dressing up. I felt comfortable. There was no conflict with it. It just seemed normal. So dealing with the challenge, I didn't meet friends on there who I end up going into a place of going into gay nightclubs at the age of 16 years old. Like they didn't really card at this particular club, which is unheard of because there's alcohol involved and stuff like that. So I would go to these places dressed up, whether in drag or I would dress up without hair, but I would wear full makeup and go in costumes to these particular nightclubs. And so it really put on a persona of myself.
Okay. I might have missed something, but how old did he say he was when he was going to nightclubs? I'm actually a little bit confused. I'm a little bit lost.
Where I just received myself and accepted myself in this. Like, it just seemed normal. It seemed normal.
Well, yeah, the reason it would seem normal and harmless is because it's harmless and normal and causes no objective or measurable harm.
And
right?
I would imagine that it makes it harder if you had tons of makeup and a wig and stuff like that to know the age of the person, but still 16 is really young.
Okay, yeah. I would criticize the nightclub for not actually verifying the age. Like if it's the case that somebody is in a nightclub and I don't know, it's more ambiguous. I don't know. Maybe he looked really old for his age, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So dealing with the nightclub, because there were so many people, whether if they didn't catch it or they just didn't care and they just let everybody go in. So this particular bar, I'm sure it was probably 18 and over. I can't remember. It's been years. But I remember
It would be 21 and over, right?
the age that I did start attending.
Damn, bro, looking cute today. Thank
And
you.
the
Hello, totally not gay. Good to see you
most
again.
times where I did go, they never carded.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to tell you
I don't give a
about
shit.
extra content. Please.
I don't want you to tell me
How
about
did your
that.
sexual activities develop over time? Because we talked about the feminization of the outward appearance. We talked about the attraction, but we still have
Dude, the woke mind virus made me gay and transgender. It feminized me. I was forced feminized.
touched on, the sexual part of it. So how did that develop over time?
Of course he wants to hear about the sexual part of it, all right? You just know the man with the giraffe neck right here. He wants to know all about the gay sex that was had. He wants to hear it in detail.
As well.
So I mentioned with the chat line, it started with this actually encountering other men. So I would actually talk to certain people. Again, they didn't know that I was a guy. I didn't sound like one. They assumed. And this particular challenge,
Dude's probably a chaser. Oh, absolutely. Well, what if the fuck else would he be? Uncommon liberal W. I will say, I'm not really a liberal. I'm more of a leftist. The fact that I make that distinction, I know it's very terminally online thing to do. But I will say, some of the opinions that I have, you might not expect. I'm definitely not your standard of whatever, like liberal or whatever. Sometimes people are surprised with like my humor as well. Like I have like a super like, I don't give a fuck, say whatever you want type of attitude. I mean, the woke mind virus is.
and you were able to go into private rooms
Dude, the woke mind virus is based. I'm gonna infect you all with the woke mind virus. Dude, I'm actually doing it right now. I'm using my manipulation tactics.
with just one-on-one conversation. So that
Didn't know Long Neck was also on this podcast.
particularly happened time and time after to where
What's a chaser? Chubby chaser? Well, that could be a form of chaser, but we're talking about trans chaser.
I end up meeting
Or like femboy chaser potentially. I'm ontologically insane. Yo, me
an
too.
individual, but before meeting them, I had let them know that I was a male, and they were okay with that. And I think that was the
Hey, look, it's not gay if the balls aren't touching and the socks are on,
turning
okay?
point to where my life became
I need Jesus to counter the woke mind virus I've been infected with. Yeah, me too.
sexually active.
Hello, we detransitioning in here. Yes, Emra Bogmeyer. I'm detransitioning for Jesus, chat. All right? Jesus is curing me from the woke mind virus.
With the same sex. And from that point on, that's where it began to be a regular thing of meeting men, and it progressed over time. But yeah, it was dealing with the challenge that kind of opened the door to actually being sexualized with other men.
I want you to elaborate on the idea of like the progressing
Common gay sex W.
over time, because eventually
Jesus are 90% freaks, 10% are the nicest people you'll ever meet. Well, that 10% I wouldn't classify as
you
chasers.
did become a hooker. So I want you to explain how it developed into that, and also why did it become appealing to you? Because that's not something most people want to do, but obviously that you weren't
Dude, what do you mean? Are you telling me that people aren't like, when I grow up, I want to become a hooker?
forced into it. So can you talk about that?
Yeah. Well, there was so much going on at this particular time. Now we're dealing with the year 2000. At this time, there was so much stuff on HBO.
Dude, I wasn't even born yet. 9/11 hadn't even happened yet. That was like, dude, that's like a long time ago. That's before Bush did 9/11.
Certain shows that I would watch and dealing with
What if they made a vaccine for the woke mind virus, but since vaccines are woke, nobody could use it? That's a great idea.
prostitution, actually. And it would show different transsexuals or as far as in transgender individuals who look like women that would prostitute themselves. So there was some sort of influence in those videos that I would watch to where I'm starting
Dude, they made me into a prostitute, dude. The transgender woke mind virus made me whore myself
to
out.
question myself, like,
It's trans people's fault.
I can actually make money off of this instead of just doing it for free. But there's a little bit more
Dude, me with OnlyFans be like...
to why I started actually going into that too, because I went
Also, if you're doing it for fun, then it's going to be the case that you're going to have like a, I don't know, a little bit more of a say in like who you're sleeping with. Like if you're like a prostitute or like a hooker or whatever the fuck, right? You're not going to have as much of a say.
witnessed a lot of my sisters
I was negative 3 years old during 9/11.
get with wrong men, and also seeing how my father would treat my mother when I was young too, where I kind of made this decision in my mind that if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to allow men to treat me like how they treated my sisters.
Yeah, that's easier said than done. Like on day one, if you're with somebody, obviously you're not going to take as much shit from them. That's not how abuse works though. Abuse isn't like, yeah, dude, I'm going to hit you on day one, right? That doesn't work. Like there were no, like you have to build an emotional attachment first, right? And then it's a lot more difficult to get out of that relationship. So usually what an abuser will do is they won't just fucking whatever, beat the shit out of the person that they're abusing on day one, right? They'll act nice, they'll be normal, they'll almost put on a facade of the opposite type of person that they actually are in order to get the person emotionally attached and invested in the relationship. And then, and only then, are they able to start changing things slowly over time and showing their true colors.
Are my mother. So I stepped into this place of that, and I went into just into that place of just saying, you know, I'm not going to just give this away. I'm actually going to make money off of it. This didn't happen on the channel where I was charging males. It actually went into a place where I started getting involved in heavier drugs. At this time, I was doing crank.
Okay, do you think that what was ruining your life was the gay sex, or do you think it might have been the drugs? Because I'm guessing it was the drugs, because drugs are actually bad. See, it's like we're already conflating variables here. It's like, no, you being gay was never the issue. You doing drugs was.
It was a particular drug where it actually, it keeps you awake. You don't really eat. It kind of suppresses a lot of stuff.
Dude, that's like Olive Oil Run's dream drug, okay? Oh, you don't have to eat? It like suppresses your appetite? Dude, for somebody as anorexic as Olive Oil Run, that's gonna be perfect.
When I started getting involved in this
drugs are okay sometimes. Well, obviously some drugs are okay under certain circumstances, but like, there's a difference between like, I don't know, like, I had a cup of coffee this morning and there was caffeine, right? That's technically a drug. Or, oh, my doctor prescribed this drug for me and that's what I take in the prescribed dosages. Versus, oh yeah, dude, I was doing crack cocaine last week. Like, I think there's like a little bit of a difference.
This is where I started getting more active in dressing more as a woman, of living the lifestyle of...
I thought you already did that.
Dressed in, I guess you could say, heavy drag, just living like that every night, and how I would dress and go out.
Well, hold on. Were you a drag queen or were you a woman? Like, were you trans or not? There's like a distinction
in the
there.
Streets. And now I went into a place of actually prostitution, actually meeting guys.
I miss so much Lore, who was Olive Oil Run. She's this like disgusting animal abuser. She's like also racist and transphobic, and we also farmed her for content. We also had beef with her, and yeah, it's a long story.
And honestly, it started off with
just got prescribed Adderall, by the way. Hell yeah!
Let's just walk to the store with another friend. Let's just walk to the store. Let's see if we get any attention like that. And from when I recognized that I was getting attention, then it became a regular thing to where I was stepping into being a hooker and doing that types of acts.
Let's talk about the
I'm sure he wasn't influenced by the drugs in the slightest. That couldn't possibly be the
drug
case.
that you mentioned. I'm not familiar with what crank is. If you know
crank?
a little bit, maybe you can help us to understand what kind of category you might fit in. But what I find interesting is the periods where you would not have any sleep or wouldn't eat for long periods of time, because you...
I'm sure it was caused all by homosexuality and transgenderism and wokeness.
Started having...
Oh, it's a type of meth? Okay. I'm sure that the meth had nothing to do with it.
Weird.
I'm sure that was the least of his worries. It was the homosexuality that was the
experiences,
issue,
let's just call it like that. And I want you to explain kind of the things that you would see and how that worked during those periods of drug use and no sleep and that kind of stuff.
So crank, there's different names for it. I don't know what it is now, but then crank was, I can relate it to crystal meth, where we get methamphetamines.
Oh, that's awesome, bro. All my homies love crystal meth.
How we know it now. The language I would use then was more clean. It wasn't so much like cut with other different types of chemicals.
Oh, thank God. It was just pure meth, all right? It didn't have other chemicals. It wasn't laced with anything. Just pure meth. Obviously safe.
So crank was cut with a different types of chemicals. And so what this particular drug does, it really keeps you up. And it's related. It's known as an upper, where you feel very high, energetic. So on this particular drug, I would be...
Guys, did you know that meth makes you high? Thank you for sharing. I needed that explanation.
For days. And the most days that I can recount of me being up on that particular drug was 6 days straight. So there was 6 days.
I'm sure that the drug addiction was the least of his worries. Like, notice how it's ex-drag hooker explains how he developed the gender dysphoria. It's like the drug usage is even part of the title. It's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm sure it had nothing to... Yeah, all of like the mental illnesses he had, nothing to do with any of like the drug use or anything. It was transgenderism and wokeness.
Is where I was not sleeping. So I was very sleep deprived. So late at night, I would see dark shadows in my room. I would notice shadows moving on the side of me.
Yeah, if you're seeing dark shadows moving, you're probably on too many drugs. Like, yeah, that's... Oh, okay.
But I would definitely see shadows. I would hear things. And when I say I would hear things...
That means that there's probably an issue with the drugs you're taking and the lifestyle you're living in terms of, the substances you're on.
Just hear like growling or noises, but not seeing anything there. So I would see certain things like that.
Okay, and you obviously you were intoxicated, or
Please don't tell me they make this into a spiritual thing. I'm actually, dude, I'm gonna end it all if they're like, actually, this was a spiritual encounter. This was my awakening. It's like, no, that's you being on drugs.
you were addicted at the very least. So if you weren't intoxicated, you might have been withdrawing from it, and you had not a whole lot of sleep. So do you know that these weren't just hallucinations? Because hallucinations are a thing. Was that hallucinations, or is there something that tells you that it was much more than that?
Oh God, no! I was making a joke. Wait, they're not actually gonna make a claim about spirituality based on this.
No, I believe this was way more than hallucinations.
What do you mean it's more than hallucinations? If you're seeing things when you're on drugs, then yes, that's a hallucination. That's not more than that. There's no spiritual encounter there. Oh wow, how convenient that the spiritual encounters magically only happen when you're like fucking on like high on DMT and shit. Oh dude, guys, did you know that I had a spiritual encounter? And that I've had multiple instances of that, but it was like only when I was like on meth and DMT. Oh, wow, what a crazy coincidence that the spirits only communicate with me when I'm on drugs.
Only reason why, because there was always a trail of it throughout my whole life of seeing things like that and being fearful of certain things. The neighborhood kids would get involved with certain Ouija boards. Actually make them themselves.
Oh, dude, it's like a J Station video. Oh, bringing back XXX Tentacion back from the dead using the Ouija board at 3 a.m. challenge. Like, this is a fucking meme. There's no way this is real.
They would tell spooky stories as young kids.
Oh no, the spooky stories. The spooky stories. People would tell spooky stories, and that scared me as a kid. So therefore, my fucking hallucinations when I was on meth and awake for 6 days straight because of how fucking high I was. I'm sure that those hallucinations were real.
But I kind of feel like that was an open door that led, kind of opened up for me to be terrorized in the nighttime through dreams. And really on.
Guys, I had nightmares, so it must be a spiritual encounter.
In my life that carried on, just seeing certain things like that and witnessing things like that. And now dreams were always kind of normal for me in regards to just.
Oh, guys, it was more than just hallucination because I had dreams. Don't you know?
Terrors. Like there were several accounts where my mom had to come wake me up in my room because I was screaming out, yelling.
That doesn't mean it's not a hallucination, you fucking moron.
So
if you're high on drugs and then you're seeing things, and you don't get to be like, yeah, it was actually just like it wasn't just like a hallucination. It was a spiritual encounter. My reasoning is I used to have nightmares growing up. Like, what the fuck? Like, how does that logically follow?
That would happen sporadically. It wasn't something that was daily, but there was times in my life that I would recognize that my mom would come into the room and wake me up because I was having a nightmare.
So you had nightmares sometimes, therefore they weren't hallucinations.
So you're saying that these dark experiences, whatever they were, started when you were young, and then once you started taking that drug, they just got bigger. But they weren't new. It wasn't something that came out of nowhere.
Okay, so he had nightmares growing up, and also when he was on drugs, he saw things. Like, there's nothing you can conclude from that. There's nothing that logically follows other than, yeah, when you go on drugs, you're fucking high on meth, and you're awake for 6 days in a row because of how fucking high you are. Yeah, you might start to see things. You might have hallucinations.
Yeah, it wasn't new.
Okay. I find that very interesting. But I want to go back to gender dysphoria, the belief that you were a woman. You touched on...
Well, that's not gender dysphoria. That's completely different. Gender dysphoria is more along the lines of like a feeling of discomfort, right? That's like it could be caused by that incongruence, but it's not the incongruence in of itself.
A tiny bit earlier when you said that it felt right that you were wearing women's clothes. And I think that was probably the genesis, the beginning of that period. But can you explain how gender dysphoria developed for you over the years?
It was a progression. It wasn't something I just like, I've always known. It was something I kind of walked into and started.
What do you mean walked into? How do you walk into gender dysphoria? It's either the case that you have it or you don't. There's no walking into gender dysphoria. Now, you could make an argument like, oh, yeah, like it developed over time. Like, isn't it like got worse? Like, as I went through puberty, like, and noticed the masculinizing changes that like made my dysphoria worse or whatever. Maybe I didn't realize I had like this discomfort until that happened, right? And not all trans people necessarily have dysphoria in the first place, but it doesn't like magically like appear out of fucking thin air, right?
Started coming to the realization like this feels normal. I started recognizing I
Hold on, you're not even describing dysphoria. You're describing the maybe gender euphoria at most, right? So like, oh, okay, when I wear these feminine clothing, these feminine articles of clothing. Why can't I fucking speak? When I wear feminine clothing, it feels right. Not that it feels wrong when you wear masculine clothing or present mask, right?
I fit the role of a woman. I feel like I internally.
Hold on, gender roles slash expectations are not necessarily the same thing as gender identity, right? So these are fundamentally different. So you have gender expression, right? And you have gender identity, you have gender roles. Like these are there might be some overlap in many instances or on average, right? But they're not necessarily the same.
Internally, I feel like this is who I'm supposed to be. And it kind of progressed throughout time to where now I question, like, is this who I was always meant to be? Because this feels like I'm honestly trapped in the wrong body. We hear that terminology a lot. I feel like I was born in the wrong
I mean, yeah, if you felt like you were born in the wrong body or trapped in the wrong body, yeah, you have every right to fix that.
body. I had those questions asked, I had those personal questions to myself, asking, like, was I born in the wrong body? And I was having this moment where I was like tormented inside because I wanted to be a girl one day and I wanted to.
Yeah, girls being passionate equals fuming. W, gender affirming misogyny. No, literally, like if any conservative commentator was talking in the same tone of voice as me and making whatever similar types of arguments, but like in the opposite direction, you'd be like, yo, fucking based. Dude, they're so based. They're speaking their mind. But then it's like, oh, like a transgender woman that you disagree with does it, and then it's like, yeah, oh yeah. Well, you're just fuming every 10 seconds. It's like, no, I can be passionate without fuming, right?
To be a boy the next, like I would grow my hair out. I'd grow my hair out for several months to where it would grow long, or even years. I'll grow it out, and then I would have this feeling where I just want to be a boy.
Well, it sounds like he might be gender fluid. If I'm going to be completely honest, based on what he said, right? I'm not going to say that he must necessarily be gender fluid, but that's what he's describing here, right? Where sometimes he wants to be a girl, sometimes he wants to be a boy, right? So maybe something a little bit more ambiguous, right? That doesn't make him a trans woman, right?
I would cut it off. It was just a whole lot of confusion going on of who I was supposed to be. But in this particular conversation,
gee golly, if only there was some sort of solution, like, I don't know, educating people on this
I
shit.
remember just crying in the car, and I just cried and just asked God, like, it would be so much more easier if you can make me a girl, because I was dealing with the torment of just like not really loving myself. There was other things that were said towards me with my family and my brothers as adults, like, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to continue to do the same thing over and over? So although it happened as a child, I kept hearing it ringing over in my adulthood life too, to where I started questioning myself. Like I felt like I was, I guess you could say, I felt like I was a burden to my mother and my father.
Well, then that sounds like you've been shamed. It sounds like your parents aren't very good people. If I'm going to be completely honest, it sounds like they weren't actually supportive of you. It sounds like they didn't actually give a fuck about you or your feelings. If you feel like you're a burden to them and you're blaming yourself for something that is completely outside of your control, then maybe you're actually not at fault. Maybe you're actually not doing anything wrong.
To where I felt like it would be better for me to be in prison or for me to die. So I would question and ask God, like, it would just be so much better, because honestly, that's what I found in that moment. Like, if I could be a girl, I would be normal. Like, I would be normal.
What do you mean normal? Like, the whole point of being trans isn't to be normal, right? Like, that's not our end goal. Like, maybe ideally you're able to pass so well that people don't fucking question it and just perceive you as, like, whatever, the gender identity that you identify with, and with no real stipulations or whatever, and treat you as such. Maybe you could make that argument. But other than that, it's like, no, the goal is not normalcy, right? That's not necessarily the goal. The goal is to be yourself, right? But you are inherently doing the opposite of the societal default, I guess you could say, right?
And I would be accepted by everybody, but that was...
No, that's not how it works. What? No, you don't become transgender because you're going to be accepted or whatever the fuck. Anybody that's homophobic and not accepting of gay or queer people isn't going to magically accept you if you become transgender. This is completely illogical.
That wasn't the case. That's not how, God designed me. But in that moment, that's...
What do you mean God designed you? Do you even have any evidence of God existing in the first place? Why did he just fucking design you to have gender dysphoria? Why did he fucking design your brain so in a way where you're attracted to men instead of women?
What I was struggling with.
Yeah, I have a lot of sympathy for you, because you never fit in from the time that you were a child. You never fit in with boys or with girls, and you weren't trying to be different. You just happened to be like that. And
okay, so if he acknowledges the fact that he's different, then why try to conform if that's just not who you are? If by default you're different, then you should be willing to accept
totally
that.
Sympathize with the feelings that you were having of feeling like you don't belong, and it'd be better if you weren't there, because you felt like a burden to people. But you talked about it'd be easier if I was a girl, a woman. Did you ever take that extra step to wanting to transition physically?
Yeah, my life pattern continued dealing with the prostitution and doing drugs, doing crystal meth, to where
Yeah, if you're doing crystal meth, then that's probably going to be the main issue, not transgenderism.
I decided to go all in. Like, I decided to go all in. That was my life's goal at this particular moment. Obviously, the prayer wasn't answered. God turned me into
The prayer wasn't answered. Wow, it's almost like God isn't real.
a woman. This is what I want to be. That didn't happen. So I pretty much put measures into my own hands where I was just like,
It's like, why would God give you the fucking desire to be a woman in the first place?
I'm just going to continue to progress into this place of really transitioning into a woman. Now, again, I made up in my mind where I'm growing my hair out.
Either she retransitions years later or offs, quote, himself before he can.
I'm living as a woman now.
It's kind of sad.
So I remember I started
Satan is God, true.
taking estrogen, which is actually
Yo, base, I'm taking estrogen currently.
injection
I've been on estrogen for a bit over a year. Maybe closer to a year and a half now.
that I would take. And it was filled with estrogen. I would take it. I think it was twice a week. And you can find
Okay, so he got injections. Okay. Me personally, I take like the little ones that like dissolve in your mouth. Like the little...
how I purchased mine was at a local botanica store, which is actually a Mexican store where they sell candles.
But yeah, you can take it either sublingually or buccally, I
A lot of
think.
people, they buy a lot of their witchcraft items there. Honestly,
Wait, what? Hold on. I'm sorry. Did I just hear that
I
correctly?
think it was twice a week. And you can find how I purchased mine was at a local botanica
So wait, hold on. He purchases estrogen from what?
store, which is actually a Mexican store where they sell candles. A lot of people, they buy
A type of retail store that specializes in selling folk medicine, religious candles, and other spiritual items. Particularly those associated with Santeria? I'm sorry, what? Where the fuck are you getting your estrogen? Is this real? Wait, is he making this shit up? Wait, is he a US citizen? I don't think you can get estrogen like that. Is he getting DIY? Is he getting DIY HRT? Like, what is this?
a lot of their
Mexican pharmacy? Wait, was he from Mexico?
witchcraft items there. Honestly, I really don't know the ins and outs of it, of what they sell there, but I know there's candles and certain items. But this one, I would buy my estrogen over the counter. They didn't card you. They didn't ask you questions.
Dude, that would be fucking nice if that was how it was in the United States.
And you put it together and inject yourself. But I
Dude, it would be so much easier for trans people, I swear to God. What's sublingual? Not bilingual. I assume you mean buccally. So sublingually is like it's like where you put the pill under your tongue, right? And then it dissolves, right? And then buccally is you put it on like, I don't know, your like in your mouth, and it's like on like your either your like against your left or right cheek, and then it dissolves that way, like inside your mouth, right?
kind of went into that place where I made up a decision in my mind where I wanted to be a woman. And to be
I mean, if you want to be a woman, then you probably are one.
to be honest, my friends started going into that place of living that lifestyle as well. Obviously, I have friends now who are living a homosexual lifestyle and living their life as women. They moved to Vegas and
Wait, hold on. Living a homosexual lifestyle and living as women, so like were they transbians or what? Like these are like not the same thing. Let me guess, he conflates homosexuality with being trans.
that was my ultimate goal, was to move to Vegas and actually pursue, again, prostitution, being a hooker out there,
Yes, such an incredible goal. I'm sure it wasn't influenced by the drugs he was taking.
pretty much making money to pay for any type of surgeries. And my whole
You were told all of this. This is true, Jonathan Rubio. I'm just reading off all of the talking points that George Soros himself has given me, so that I can get my all 50 of my shekels for the day.
transition. And that
Yeah, my ultimate goal here is to spread the woke mind virus, and trans the kids and push the gay agenda.
estrogen, what it did, because obviously I'm a male, so
TTTT claims another
it
victim.
kind of really, I'm filling my body with estrogen and I have testosterone. So it brought a lot of like a night's
Hold on, wait. I'm sorry. What? Let me replay that because it sounds like you're doing HRT wrong. If that's the case.
what it did, because obviously I'm a male, so it kind of really, I'm filling my body with estrogen and I have testosterone.
Okay, well that's why you would take some sort of testosterone suppressant, right? So you would take spironolactone, right? It doesn't have to be Spiro, but it could be whatever, any anti-androgen, right? You don't want to just take estrogen and not an anti-androgen, right? Now, estrogen in of itself does, in part, function as an anti-androgen, but it doesn't entirely, right? Like it's more effective if you take spironolactone or whatever, right? So that might be part of the issue as well.
So it brought a lot of like night sweats. But I remember one night
Really? Dude, I used to sweat at night all the time, and Ever since I've been on HRT, like, it rarely happens, or it happens way less.
I had a dream and I woke up from a nightmare. I can't tell you what the nightmare was about, but I just knew I woke up from a nightmare. But I would always hear my mom tell me, especially growing up as a child, having nightmares, to turn on, either she would come in and wake me up, or later on as I got older to turn on the Christian channel or the radio.
If this is all based on how someone feels, how is it not a mental disorder? Being transgender? Yeah, being transgender in of itself isn't necessarily a mental disorder. Now, there can be mental disorders associated with or derived from a feeling of incongruence, right, and uncomfortability with that. But simply identifying with a gender that you weren't assigned at birth isn't like a mental disorder necessarily, right? So like it could be the case that like whatever I've been transitioning for a while now, and like now I'm like happy because I'm able to be myself, and I don't really have any mental health issues. But it could also be the case that whatever, I have gender dysphoria. I have a feeling of discomfort in my body as a result of the incongruence between my gender and my sex, right? So it really depends, right? But it could also be the case that like say for instance you have like a trans woman, right? And she's like, completely transitioned. She has no gender dysphoria, right? It'd be the case that the reason she doesn't have gender dysphoria anymore is because she transitioned, right? Right? That's entirely possible, right?
Or something, turn on something in regards to, I guess you could say, Christian music or Christian TV. So I remember waking up and I turned.
I'm sorry. That made me spill my drink. I'm sorry. Of course, he's turning on Christian TV. But guys, we're the ones that are indoctrinated. We're the ones that, are only willing to listen to like one worldview. It couldn't possibly be the person that only listens to Christian TV or anything. No.
Turned on the Christian channel. I believe it was CBN or TBN. I really can't remember. But all I remember I heard...
You can't remember because they're all the fucking same and it's all an echo chamber.
On the TV was someone sharing a testimony of a transsexual who the Lord took to hell and back to let them know that he didn't create them to...
Yeah, I'm sure that's real. Oh, yeah, dude. Guys, I went to hell and then I came back. Oh, that's so real, bro. Yeah, I definitely believe that. That couldn't possibly be a grift or a delusion. Oh, dude, I believe that.
Be a female, but a male. Now, I can't find this testimony.
Wow, how inconvenient. Oh, dude, that's so convenient. You can't find it. Wow. The one thing that you're supposedly using as your main point of reference, you just magically can't find for some reason. This insane story of oh, dude, I was a transsexual, but then I died and then went to hell, but then I came back to life. It's like surely that'd be so notable that you'd be able to find it easily, right? But no, it just magically disappeared, I guess.
I can't find it nowhere, which is really weird, but I knew what I saw.
Wow, that's so weird. What a wacky coincidence.
And I knew what I heard that night. But when I heard that, something happened to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not convinced by somebody claiming that they went to hell and then came back to life. That's not very convincing.
Yeah, like something happened in my heart. I stopped taking estrogen. I didn't stop living the lifestyle. I didn't stop doing being on the streets, selling my body. I didn't stop doing none of that. But it detoured me from mutilating my body and making the decision.
Mutilating your body? What do you mean by mutilating? Like what are you talking about? Like, why do you use the term mutilating? Like, clearly you have some sort of anti-trans bias that's informing your decision-making here, right?
To really go out and pursue.
Sounds like Mormonism? No, literally. Like, this is some, like, insane shit.
Any kind of sex change. But that's where it kind of went into a deeper...
Hold on, sex change? Hold on, we're talking about two completely different things. There's a fundamental difference between taking estrogen and getting bottom surgery, right? Like, bottom surgery is something that's going to require a little bit more of, like, I guess, like a consideration. Hey, thank you, Anonymous, for the $25, you beautiful fucking bastard, saying, I'm such a beautiful fucking bastard. This is true, by the way, and thank you for the 25. Yeah, feel free to request Skirt Go Spinny, me purring into the mic, whatever it may be. Yeah, thank you for the kindness.
Deeper place to where now...
Men will call trans people delusional while believing in spiritual visions and demons. No, literally.
I started doing prostitution online, which would either be Craigslist or Redbook at that time. But I would start meeting men on there and doing online prostitution like that.
I want to touch on something that you mentioned, because you said that your life goal was to go to LA and be a prostitute in LA, which is quite a strange life goal. And I think...
I mean, you know what? He's not even wrong. That is a very strange life goal, to say the very least.
If you ask any children, no one would ever dream of that.
Like, obviously, this person is not well. Like, if it's the case that he stops estrogen or whatever the hell because he's, like, scared, like, oh, no, what if I go to hell? But then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna, like, do, like, fucking meth, amphetamines, and I'm gonna fucking, like, my life goal is to become a prostitute. It's like, there's not even a sense of internal consistency there. It's like, it's just insanity. It's mental insanity. It's delusion. It's fucking schizo shit.
So I want to ask, why did you see that as a honorable thing to do? Or did you even see it as that? And also,
bro, what kind of question is it? Did you see it as an honorable thing to do? Maybe you just saw it as like a fun thing to do.
how would you have described your life at that time?
When I said it was a life goal, honestly, because it was just my life was so immersed in that lifestyle already. I couldn't see like me actually.
And what was the initial driving force that caused it to be immersed in that specific lifestyle? What driving factors caused you to start doing drugs and go down this fucking pipeline or whatever the hell? It was the fact that people were homophobic. It was the fact that people were insulting you because you came across as more effeminate at school. Then you dropped out of school. You started hanging out around whatever, the wrong crowd that got you hooked on shit like fucking cocaine and meth, right? And it's like, oh wow, I wonder why his life fell apart. Maybe, I don't know, if it was the case that he didn't start ditching school, which could have been prevented by, I don't know, people being more accepting, this wouldn't have been an issue.
Actually have a 9-to-5 job. I couldn't see myself actually making money working at a fast food restaurant or somewhere at a particular job place. I never had that. So being what I was doing was kind of
drugs make you say Satan.
normal for me, and it just seemed like it was easy money. It was fast money. So,
bruh, I mean, I guess this would have been before OnlyFans existed.
It was a life goal for me because it felt like it was a faster way to get the job done if I went that route.
I mean, how much money can you even make as a prostitute or as a hooker?
Now, my whole life and what I thought of it then, it felt like the stuff, the interactions I was getting myself into was drawing life away from me. So my life was in shambles. I really didn't have anything to give to no one but my body.
You said that this was normal for you. Did you experience any guilt or shame related to selling your body away, or was that so normalized that you were kind of numb to?
For me, I wouldn't experience any guilt or shame, but maybe that's just me personally. Maybe I'd feel like, I don't like this, or I feel objectified, but I wouldn't feel guilt or shame, right? Like, it's not like a oh, I'm doing like a morally wrong thing, if that makes sense. I don't know what his response is going to be, but
I like that you mentioned that, because I did feel shame and guilt after every encounter, and I would even question myself, like, when it came to same-sex
and maybe it's not for you.
Encounters with men.
What do you mean? Why would you? What is there to question?
Even after things were done, I would even ask myself, like, I would have these alone talks to myself, like, this is not for you. Like, why are you? Like, I would have those.
Okay, so maybe it's not for you. Okay, good for you. Like, is it on the basis of homosexuality, or on the basis of maybe you just, I don't know, don't want to like have sex with everybody and maybe want like a deeper connection?
Moments where this is not what I want to do, but it just seemed like something always overtook me to where I just kept doing it over and over again. It's like I didn't know how to get out. I didn't know how to leave that place. When I say it's like it was a normal thing for me to do, because it was a normal thing for me to do. Although,
I mean, obviously, if you're not enjoying it, then don't do it.
I would have these moments.
Hookers are victims, not morally wrong. No, I would generally agree.
And just be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I would just feel disgusted with myself actually after the encounter.
Okay, why would you feel disgusted with yourself? Where is that coming from? Where's the feeling of disgust? Why do you feel like you're disgusting for that? Right? Is it perhaps because of what society has deemed to be the case on your behalf without even you having any say in it?
I would feel so disgusted with myself to where
I wouldn't feel any guilt if I was a hooker IMO. Yeah, no, literally. Like, I might not enjoy it. Like, I probably wouldn't enjoy any of like the ramifications that come along with it, right? Like, I wouldn't enjoy being a hooker, but I wouldn't feel guilty, right? I wouldn't feel like I'm a bad person or that there's like something wrong with me, right?
I would just either just like, I can't believe I just did that. But again, I would fall into the same pattern over again. But yes, guilt and shame did play a part in that every encounter I did have.
Well, that sounds like self-hatred, no?
Okay. You said that you saw no way out, that you thought that was the only way to go. But
but let me guess, Jesus was his way out, and then that made him straight.
Life did a total 180 one day.
The Christian right is making him hate himself. I agree with you 100%.
Can you talk through the day, what happened, and tell us the story of what changed your life?
I remember this particular night I was
Oh, okay, so it's one single night.
Getting high.
Oh, okay, so he was high.
With my brother and my
Awesome.
sister. And he mentioned
So it sounds like the whole family is fucking addicted to drugs. They're all getting high together. Probably because it's a shit
mention
household.
something. Now, I don't know if my brother was involved in witchcraft. I did hear some stories.
Witchcraft. Oh, dude, my brother was involved in witchcraft. Oh, God. So scary. I'm sure that the witchcraft did so many
Later
real
on.
things that had a real impact on the real world.
But he mentioned this phrase to me, and he said it was the witching hour. As soon as he said it was the witching
Ooh, that's so ominous. Ooh,
hour,
spooky.
I just felt like this heavy, oppressive thing kind of come over me.
Bro, what? Dude, okay, so it's an entirely emotions-based argument. Oh, dude, as soon as he was talking about how it's the hour, the what is it, the witching hour? Oh, he's gonna do witchcraft. I just felt this everlasting sense of doom. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
It seemed like everything shifted in my house.
Like, this is just a mental illness, and it's like, oh, so this is all happening when you're high as well. Like, yeah, okay, that's gonna be why you're being so
Where
irrational.
everything seemed like gloomy, like dark and gloomy. And I knew something was there because I could feel a presence. I know a presence.
Dude, maybe it's because of your drug usage.
I know when something's there,
Sounds like a bad trip if I'm to be
or when it's
honest.
fearful. And this moment, I'm feeling fear all around me.
Ooh, scary.
My sister and my brother, they're just talking like if everything's normal. I'm sitting there feeling this. And I remember calling my mom because I know what I'm feeling. And I remember the conversations, turn on the Christian channel.
Keep in mind, he was high while this was occurring, so...
Or, let me pray for you. Now, at this particular time, my mom's serving the Lord.
Dude, I'm sure that the prayers fixed his drug addiction and everything.
And I called my mom because I was going to have her pray for me. She didn't answer the phone. I had left her a voicemail.
Damn, unfortunate. Me personally, I don't even leave voicemails. I just don't answer.
And then I'm trying to play it off and laugh it off, because it seemed like they didn't hear that.
Probably because you're high. That might be
Or
why.
they didn't say that.
Wait, how does he even remember this? He literally said that he was getting high. Like, he literally said that him and all of his siblings were getting high together. You were high. How do you remember this?
So
Like, you're remembering all these specific details from when you were high? It sounds like a made-up story.
I'm sitting there trying to play it off, hoping my mom, internally praying, like, Mom, I need you to call me because I need you to pray for me because of what I was encountering. Well, she didn't call back. She did. I did leave a voicemail. I remember telling my brother, I got the nerve to tell my brother, you got to get out of my house. I don't know what you're going to do, but you got to get out.
What do you mean? Oh no, the scary witchcraft. It's gonna do so much harm. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Are you that gullible? Do you just believe anything that people tell you?
Out of my house. And then they're like tripping out on me, like, what's going on? And I'm like, you got
Yeah, you're all tripping out. They're not the only ones tripping out. You said that you and your siblings were getting high. So you were all tripping
to
out.
go. You got to go get
It's not just them tripping out and you're the sane rational person. No, you're all fucking high.
out of my house. And so he ended up leaving, and I told my sister, are you going to go with him or are you going to stay? So he ended up leaving. My sister stood, and then my mom called back. And then this moment, my mom called back. Now, I had chairs set up in my living room because we were just chilling. Now, I'm holding my
Yeah.
sister down on the chair, thinking
Wait, why? Why are you holding your sister down on the chair?
something's wrong with her.
Something's wrong with her. And what caused you to come to that conclusion?
And I'm thinking, after conversations that I had with her after my encounter, she was kind of experiencing the same thing. Something was wrong with me.
Yeah, maybe because you were holding her down on the chair. Yeah, yo, no fucking shit. If somebody was holding me down on the chair and not letting me move, yeah, I'd probably think that there's something wrong with them. I might think, oh shit, like, is this person gonna, like, fucking kill me? Like, what's going on here?
Like, she was sensing like I was trying to come at her and try to.
Yes, if somebody is holding me down to a chair, yes. Yes, that is a reasonable thing. That is a reasonable conclusion to come to. You just said that you were randomly holding her down on the chair because you felt something was wrong. Yeah, if somebody is randomly being held down on a chair with, like, no explanation, no warning, no nothing, yeah, they're probably gonna feel something mutual. Guys, did you know that if somebody gets fucking held down on a chair for no goddamn reason other than, I just, like, felt like it. I felt like there was something wrong. Yeah, they're gonna feel like there's something wrong. Somebody holds me down on a chair, I'm gonna be like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, yeah, there's something wrong with this dude.
Like, I was pretty much either going to kill her or cause her harm. That was her thought process. But in this moment, I'm holding her down thinking something's wrong and whatever. Nothing happened. My mom prayed, and I guess my mom sent my dad to come pick me up, so I told her to come get me. But I remember when my dad got there, I ended up stepping outside my front porch, and I remember telling my sister, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I remember on my front porch, I don't know how it happened. I just know that I went completely blind. Like,
you went completely blind. Do you think it might have been, I don't know, related to your drug usage? Like, if you're on drugs and you're, like, doing so much meth that you're literally fucking awake for 6 days in a row, that maybe that might start to have an impact on your cognitive ability and your, I don't know, say, for example, your brain's ability to process visual information, maybe, perhaps.
I couldn't see anymore. I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm sure It has nothing to do with the drug usage. I mean, you literally said that you were getting high.
All I was just completely dark. I couldn't see anything, but I don't even know how I got from my porch all the way into the car.
Well, of course you don't know because you were fucking high as shit.
I knew I was walking, but I couldn't see the walkway. I couldn't see anything. But on the drive, all I knew is that I felt all these hands on my body.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad trip. Yeah, that's what happens when you do too many drugs is you experience weird shit like that. You literally said that you were getting high before this happened.
I felt like all these hands were like pretty much gripping me, holding me down.
Yeah, that's a sign that maybe you need to stop taking fucking drugs.
I was being oppressed.
Not that this is like a spiritual encounter. No, it is the opposite. It is a hallucination. It is something you are imagining. Which means, okay, if you're fucking imagining things, then maybe you should stop taking drugs. It's like, oh yeah, dude, this was actually an encounter with God or whatever the fuck. No, it wasn't. Well, why would God? You only encounter God when you're fucking high on meth.
And I remember walking into my mom's home. Now, in this moment, I can't see anything still. I'm still completely blind. I remember
probably something to do with your drug use.
Sitting on the couch. My mom was on the couch, and I remember laying on her lap. And I remember telling my mom, I feel like I'm getting demon possessed. Something's happening with me.
No, it's not the demon possessing you. It is you being high on drugs. You literally said that you were getting high. Oh, yeah, dude, the demons were possessing me, but the demons can only possess me when I'm high on drugs.
I don't feel right. So I remember my mom, she was praying. My dad already went to the room, went back to sleep, and I was literally...
Dude, just pray the bad trip away.
It was just me.
And then once the bad trip is over, it must be because the prayers worked, and not because, bad trips don't necessarily last forever.
For about like 3 to 4 hours. I was just having this moment with my mom, and I'm just crying. She's praying for me, trying to just really bring comfort to me in this moment, what I'm dealing with. So she prayed, nothing was happening. And
you're dealing with a bad trip. That's literally it.
And I was like, Mom, I need you to keep praying for me. That's all I kept telling her.
Fun fact, people think they are possessed when they are on drugs. It's called a drug-induced psychosis law. No, literally. Like, that is the obvious explanation. It's not a fucking spiritual encounter. Oh, really? You have spiritual encounters exclusively when you're fucking high on drugs? Oh, guys, you want to have a spiritual encounter? You want to encounter some spirits? Go on fucking DMT, bro. Dude, it's very real. It's definitely not just, I don't know, drugs fucking with your brain chemistry in a way that causes you to believe that. No, that couldn't possibly be the case. It's not the drugs. It's the spirits. It's the demons.
I need you to pray for me. And it just seems like nothing happened. Nothing changed. I didn't even know what it looked like to ask or to forgiveness or even to dialogue with God. But that was like the
forgiveness for what?
First thing in my mind. Like, I need to do something because what my mom's doing is not helping. Like, at this moment, it was just me and God. Like, I could not.
Wow. Wait, your mom praying wasn't helping? Whoa, it's almost as if prayers don't do anything. Holy shit.
I couldn't hide from what was happening. Like,
yes, you can't run or hide from a bad trip. That is true.
Had to.
It's like inside your brain. There's your brain being affected by the drugs. Yeah, you can't run or hide from that. That doesn't mean that you're having a spiritual encounter.
I had to deal with this with God.
This man is a fake Christian, not a good fruit. Hey, I'm not going to say whether or not he's a fake or a real Christian. To me, that's not important. What's important to me is the fact that this is like a fucking grift.
And no one else, because nothing was happening. So I remember I'm laying on the couch, and I'm just crying. Like,
God speaks to his strongest soldiers, parentheses, meth heads, true.
I didn't even know what forgiveness looked like. I didn't know how to repent or what that looked like.
Repent for what? You're on a bad trip.
Even ask God to forgive me. I just knew just to start saying I'm sorry. And I
sorry for what exactly?
Remember, I started saying, I'm sorry for living a life of homosexuality. I'm sorry for...
That's the first thing you apologize for? I'm sorry for doing something that causes no objective or measurable harm. Why would you be sorry? Why would you apologize for that?
Living a life of how I treated my mother and my father.
What? I'm sorry, what? Didn't you literally at the beginning of the video say that your parents were literally abusive? Isn't that like the first thing you said? Why would you be sorry about that either? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Because I was very mean towards my parents.
Didn't you say they were abusive? Why would you apologize?
I was very, very angry towards them, towards my...
Just sounds like you're self-hating. Wait, also, you literally said that they were abusive, and now you're being like, I was very angry towards them. Yeah, justifiably so. Yeah, if you're angry towards your abusive parents, that's like a reason. That's a good reason to be angry.
Brothers and sisters, a lot of people didn't really like me.
Should have honestly took them to the hospital instead of repair. No, literally.
Around me because I was that angry, and I would always say, I was just about it.
Okay, but you had like a good reason to be angry, did you not? Like the fact that your parents didn't accept you for who you were, the fact that whatever, they were abusive, which you literally said at the beginning of the fucking video. Like, why would you apologize for being angry for a valid fucking reason?
But I was repenting for all of that.
Repenting for your reasonable conclusions that you came to, such as, yeah, I'm fucking angry at my family for being abusive. Okay?
And just doing drugs, how I treated the life I was living, I was just...
What do you mean treated the life you were living? Like, you were at a young age introduced to cocaine. Like, is that entirely your fault? Like, you were bullied to the point where it was so bad that you felt the need to stop going to school, and you ended up dropping out because of it. And it's like you're blaming yourself for that? Like, that's absurd.
Just asking God to forgive me. And then that
Forgive you for what? You didn't even do anything. Like, sure, you could say you did something wrong in the sense that maybe you shouldn't have done drugs. And I agree with that. You shouldn't have done the drugs, right? But that's not like an immoral action in terms of like, oh, dude, I'm like causing so much harm to other people. You're causing harm to yourself. That's the reason you don't do drugs, right? It's because you're hurting yourself.
that moment, I just knew it felt like my mouth opened up so wide. How I physically felt it. I felt like my mouth opened up so wide.
Dude, me when I see a massive 8-inch schlong.
And I just felt like air leave my body. Like it was just like deep.
Dude, me when I exhale.
Exhales just leaving my body. Just like.
Dude, yes, that is what happens when you exhale, is you feel the air leaving your body.
And it happened at least 7 times. And I knew something.
Guys, I exhaled 7 times. Dude, when you're breathing, when you like breathe in and out 7 times in a row, 7 of those instances are of you exhaling. That the CO2, the fucking CO2 is leaving your mouth. It's exiting your mouth, exiting your lungs.
Significant of that, because in that moment I felt I was being delivered by 7 different spirits. And again,
no, that's not how it works. That's just you breathing in and out.
I didn't know what to equate it because I didn't have the language for it, but I just knew something was leaving my body.
No, that's called the end of your bad trip.
And I remember I ended up going to sleep after all of that.
Yep, that's pretty common after a bad trip. Yep.
All the air was being left out of my body.
That's what happens when you breathe.
I just remember going to sleep, and when I woke up that morning, it was like I could see in color for the first time. Everything just seemed so.
You mean like you can like, I don't know, like you don't feel as bad as when you were on the bad trip?
Much
Also,
brighter.
I don't believe this for a fucking second. Like everything was all hunky dory the next day because you found Jesus or whatever the fuck.
Clearer. I mentioned when I was at my house where it just seemed dark and gloomy. But in this moment when
things definitely are going to seem more dark and gloomy when you're on a bad trip. Like, yeah, no shit.
I'm waking up, it just seemed everything seemed so vibrant. Like I don't know
in comparison to the bad trip,
how to explain it.
Yeah, because the bad trip is going to be pretty scary, is it not?
Clean like this, how I felt.
Like, this isn't uncommon for DMT users, by the way.
But it felt like somebody just cleaned me eternally. Like they went in and just like removed everything.
No, that's just the end of the bad trip, because you literally said that you were getting high. Yeah, that's what happens when you're done with the bad trip.
I don't know how to explain it, but I woke up and I felt so clean, but I also felt so much remorse because it's like...
Remorse for what exactly?
I'm gaining all these memories back of all the stuff, all the things that I did.
What things did you do that were bad?
And I felt so much remorse. Like
remorse for what exactly?
I can't believe I did that. I
did what specifically?
Can't believe I dressed like that. I can't believe...
You can't believe you wore feminine clothing? Like, why would you feel remorse for that? Like, I don't know. Me personally, I've never felt a shred of remorse because I'm not causing objective or measurable harm. Like, why would I? Like, if I'm not hurting anybody, if I'm just making myself happy at the expense of nobody, then what's the issue, right? It's like the reason that you feel bad about it isn't because you're doing a bad thing. It's because this idea that there's something wrong with you was instilled at a very young age before you even knew what any of these terms meant, what any of this shit was. You were told at a very young age, well, you're fucking acting feminine. You're a fucking fag because you talk more femininely, right? And these ideas that you're doing something wrong, whether it be because you were being bullied for your gender nonconformity at school, or because your parents weren't accepting of you, whatever it may be, that's what's stuck with you, is the fact that you've been treated like shit by everybody around you, including the people close to you. That's why you feel bad about it. It's not because you're actually doing something wrong. It's because people around you have told you that there's something wrong. When in reality, the only thing that was really wrong was your drug usage. That was the thing that was wrong. You were ruining your own life with that. Dropping out of school, not the best idea. You made bad decisions. But those were ones that caused harm to yourself.
I believe I did what I did on the streets. And it was just like all these emotions, all these memories were flooding back. And it was just like I felt so sorry. I never felt like that.
Sorry for what exactly? Wearing feminine clothing? Why would you feel sorry about that? That's illogical.
Where I was so sorry for the things that I did. And in that moment, that's where I just realized something happened. I don't know what happened. And I remember waking up.
You were on a bad trip.
And realizing something changed. Like something literally changed to where I started looking at my physical.
Now, something I've noticed with all of these, like, weird, like, almost false stories is it's always like, oh, yeah, dude, I was, like, super, like, gay and transgender, okay? I had been infected by the woke mind virus, but then Then one day, and then like, oh, fucking crazy event happens. Oh, I felt Jesus in the passenger seat right next to me. Or, oh, dude, I had a really fucking bad drug trip. And then the fucking day after, everything was all changed. It's like, if these stories were real, you would notice like a slow change over time. Like, oh shit, like, and then I slowly like came to this realization, and then, it's not like oh yeah, dude, this fucking happened overnight. Like, that's not real. Nothing like this ever happens. There's no, oh yeah, dude, I became straight overnight. Like, even if it was possible to go from being gay to straight, it wouldn't happen overnight. Like, that's absurd. That's fucking insane, right? That just doesn't happen. It's like conversion therapy that takes place over the course of multiple months or years doesn't work. What makes you think that shit's gonna fucking happen overnight?
To go south to where I can't believe I dressed like a woman. I can't believe it.
You can't believe it? Why is that unbelievable to you? Like, what's the issue there? What's the objective and measurable harm caused by you wearing feminine clothing? Like, who fucking cares?
And I remember I started going into a place to where I was like, this is not what I want to do anymore. This is
okay, well, good for you. You can choose to do that, but have a decent reason. Like, don't use this as like a prescriptive claim about what people ought to do. Or like make a moral argument about like, oh yeah, dude, I did the morally correct thing. Like, you can live your life however you want, but don't make it a moral argument. Now, if you're more happy living your life as a dude, more power to you. All right, you can do that. But don't pretend like it was like the morally correct thing for you to do.
Not what I want to do anymore.
Oh wait, you're a dude? Nope.
And I remember that morning and kind of within that week.
Find Jesus, bro. Find evidence of Jesus.
After this encounter happened, I remember I just started attending church with my mother. Like, it was just something she was already doing. She was already attending church. So I was like, well, let me go. When I went to church, I didn't feel shame. I didn't feel guilt. I didn't feel like people were looking at me weird. I didn't feel any type of way. I just went, God met.
You just went. You just were like a fucking bot. All right.
Where I was at in that moment where I'm crying out for help, where no man, no woman could ever save me, but he stepped in and pulled me out of being tormented, being oppressed, and brought
oppressed. Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
So much freedom that night.
Freedom, I find that difficult to believe.
Brought me so much clarity and feeling clean that I've never could experience anywhere else. This is it fills me with joy because I can.
Oh yeah, dude, he looks so happy, dude. Look at his happy little eyes, bro. He definitely doesn't look dead inside.
Think about what I was feeling in that moment, and even now, just feeling the joy of the Lord. It's like I knew
the joy. Yeah, this is gonna wear off like very quickly. It's like this is a.
But
delusion.
It was then, and it's like I honestly I didn't ever think that God would be able to save somebody like me. I didn't even think it was on his radar like he could change someone like me, but he did. And
okay, how did he change you? What specifically did he do? Like your drug your bad drug trip was not something that God did. You went on a bad drug trip and then felt better after your trip was over.
And
something tells me that maybe the drug trip fucking changed his brain chemistry.
Right there is.
Also, wait, how the fuck did he get off drugs so quickly? Like he just fucking cold turkeyed that shit. Like what the fuck is this? Like that's not physically possible. You can't cold turkey it. There are gonna be mental and physical health ramifications of cold turkeying it. You can't do that. This isn't a real story. If it was, he wouldn't have cold turkeyed it.
It's like
bro should have found Camden Gerard Davis. True.
Did everything for me and changed and transformed me in such a way to.
How is that not possible? If you're doing so much meth so frequently that you're staying awake for 6 days straight, then no, you can't cold turkey it. If you're doing cocaine habitually, no, you can't fucking cold turkey that shit. Like what?
To where
that's not possible. You can't do that.
I can't lie about the encounter that I had. I met a savior that night that changed me, and I'm forever grateful for that.
He's
think grateful for his bad trip.
I think there's no question that this was a supernatural event.
No question. Don't question it. It must be supernatural. It couldn't possibly be like a bad trip. It couldn't possibly be like, I don't know, like a worldview that's informed by drug usage. No. All right, dude, it's spiritual. It's obviously supernatural. It's like, no, that doesn't exist. There's no evidence of that.
Because we talked about your whole life, and as far as you can remember,
yes, his whole life before and after the bad drug trip, dude, that must have been God and Jesus.
Where you have actual awareness of this, you felt like you were supposed to be a woman. And of course, that developed over the years, and with understanding and all of that, where you felt like you were supposed to be a woman. And from one day to the next, all of that was gone, right?
So when
yeah, all of that, yeah, dude. The gender dysphoria disappeared, drug addiction disappeared, homosexuality disappeared. Yeah, fucking bullshit.
that happened,
I don't buy it for a second. This is fake.
like
I'm
I
sorry.
started realizing, like, I really want to live for Jesus. I want to do this. And honestly,
So you cold the turkey to the drugs that you were addicted to, such as meth and coke that you were doing habitually. You just fucking cold turkeyed it. Okay. Opioids, you can 100% cold turkey. I mean, he was doing hardcore drugs, right? Like, you don't, like, if you're addicted to meth and cocaine, I'm pretty sure there were other drugs that he did, but those were the two that stood out to me that he mentioned, because those are fucking hardcore. You don't just do fucking cocaine habitually and or meth habitually, and then it's like, oh yeah, dude, like, I'm just gonna stop and then everything is all fine. That's not how it works.
again,
Meth and coke, you can cold turkey.
and I mentioned, honestly,
I don't know if I
I
believe
didn't even think
that.
I was on God's radar, but I always was. And so, like, actually, the whole transitioning part, because I lived 28 years of not knowing him, not knowing what it was like to have a relationship with him. So I built a lot of habits.
Yeah, dude, that's so true. That's why conversion therapy never works, is because, guys, don't you know, my relationship with God made me straight and not transgender anymore.
A lot of habits, a lot of gesturing, a lot of movements.
It's like, oh wow, it's like a miracle happened overnight. Wow. Like, yeah, why doesn't that happen for, like, anybody else? Wow, it's almost like it's a made up story. Like, what about any of these people in fucking conversion therapy, that are sent there against their will, or what about just anybody that's, like, I don't know, transgender or gay? Why don't they have these experiences? Why aren't they enlightened by God or whatever the fuck? Like, why don't I personally feel any, like, guilt or shame or remorse for, like, my degenerate transgender lifestyle? Well, maybe it's because that's not something that was instilled in me. Maybe it's because I wasn't taught to hate who I am or to be ashamed of who I am. Like, you'll always notice every single time, without fail, in every single one of these stories, that these people, from the day they were fucking born, were expected to fit a certain category and a certain mold, and they weren't allowed to express themselves, and they were treated like shit.
A lot of
For if they were to express anything about themselves or their personality.
things that pertain to my old lifestyle. I would have moments where I would tell the Lord, this is something I want to live for you, but I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to look. My hair's long.
Your hair is long. I want to live for you, but my hair is long, so I don't know what that's going to look like.
I still look feminized after my encounter. It's not like that did change, right there and there. But I knew what happened in my heart and in that moment.
Yeah, if heaven forbid you be feminized and have long hair like Jesus.
So I remember I had to
Yeah, better get a haircut. You wouldn't want to have long hair like Jesus.
go through the process. I had to go through the process of transitioning, of reverting back into masculinity.
Why did you have to do that? Why was that an obligation?
Not how I
Like, who does that benefit?
want or how I thought it to be, but how God wanted me to be.
Oh, so it's actually not what you wanted. So I'm guessing you feel like shit now.
And how He created me.
So you acknowledge it's the fact that, no, you don't want to be like that. What do you mean how He created you? What if He creates you with bad vision? And then is it wrong for you to wear glasses because He created you with bad vision? You're going against God's design. What's that? You're wearing glasses or contacts or getting a LASIK eye surgery? That is a terrible sin. You are going against God's design. He designed you to have bad eyesight. And you're going against God's perfect design by getting a LASIK eye surgery? How dare you?
And I
Do you watch Asmongold? And no.
remember on one occasion, I decided to make up in my mind, I want to live for you. I fully want to live for you. I want to cut
Yeah, wanting to live for another man, that sounds kind of gay, bro. I'm not going to
off my
lie.
hair. I want to start dressing like a man. And that was a difficult part too, because I
Because it's fucking miserable to be forced to not be yourself.
lived my majority of my life dressing in skirts and stuff like that, to where I had
Hell yeah, bro. I'm wearing a
to
skirt.
wear man clothes now. But at the same time, that's where I wanted to do. That's where my heart desire was to
I find that difficult to believe. I don't think that's what you actually wanted. I think you were pressured into
dress
it.
like how I'm supposed to dress.
Supposed to according to what standard? What if it was like a couple hundred years ago when, like, I don't know, thigh highs and skirts were seen as manly? Oh, then it becomes okay? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, isn't your Christian God supposed to be a moral objectivist? Like, isn't that your entire worldview, meaning it can't be relativistic? In which case, okay, if it's not relativistic in the slightest, then why would it be relative to what is culturally considered to be masculine or feminine? Wouldn't that entirely go against your entire presupposition?
And I made up in my mind one day, and I was telling the Lord, my hair was long, and I was telling him, I was like,
Jesus' hair was also long.
I really want to live for you. I don't want to be that person who says
You're not allowed to have long hair, even though Jesus did.
live for you, because
you're held to a different standard as a man.
I've known Christians before in my life.
Not all Christians are like this. Oh, I know. I've never claimed that all Christians are like this. I react to these people not because they accurately represent Christianity or Christians in general, but because they're fucking insane and it's fun to laugh at them. But yeah, there are good Christians out there. There are accepting Christians that are kind, compassionate, etc. And those ones are all welcome in our community. If they're kind, they're not hateful, they're not transphobic, they're not bigoted in any way, then yeah, they're like, you're more than welcome here, right? Same thing with Islamic people, right? If you're not hateful in any way, and whatever, you love Jesus, you love Allah, you love God, whatever it may be, there's nothing wrong with that in of itself, right? Like, I might not like personally believe in that, but like, as long as you're like a decent person, I think that's all that really matters.
Life who were living for Jesus.
In some cultures, long hair is masculine, and for some people, it's just a part of their cultures. No, literally.
And then they backslid, and then they came back, and then backslid again. I just knew the back and forth type of Christian. I didn't have an example of someone that was being faithful to him. And I told them, Michael, I don't want to.
Yes, faithful is when you're not allowed to have any fun or live how you want to live. You're forced to do things that cause no objective or measurable good and don't prevent any objective or measurable harm, just arbitrarily, just for no reason, because I guess God felt like it or something.
To mess up, or I don't want to fall like other people did. I don't want to bring a disappointment to you, like to say that you saved me.
Sounds like you're scared of being a disappointment. I wonder where you got that from. I don't know, maybe your parents?
And then I go back to living how I used to be. I didn't want that.
Okay, but what was wrong with your original lifestyle? Aside from the drug usage, which obviously caused like a massive toll on your life, like what was wrong with you, whatever, dressing more femininely or taking estrogen?
I remember telling
guilt maxing, no, literally.
Michael, I'm going to cut my hair off. But in this moment, I knew that it was like symbolic, because I was cutting off my hair. My hair was very long, but I was cutting off. And when I went to the salon with my mother and my sister,
Dude, even Jesus didn't get a haircut. Like, what?
Celebration. Like, we got my brother back. They knew something happened.
Why would you celebrate?
They got their
there's nothing to celebrate over other than what, you being more repressive?
Back. It's something my mom.
It just sounds like you're happy that your family like accepts like whatever this facade of you that they didn't before because you didn't have that facade. But that's about it.
Pray for my sister. Would pray for that she's serving the Lord, and they would pray for this. So they're witnessing this, and I'm like, cut my hair. They cut it off, and it was just like this weight was lifted off of me, like physically. It was weight. Hair is heavy, and it was lifted off of me. But at this moment, I knew.
I mean, I don't know. How thick is your hair? Is it really that heavy? I don't believe
it was
that.
A cutting away of an old identity. It was no longer.
Jesus hung out with men all day and wore a long dress type thing too. Yeah, that combined with the fact that he literally had long hair.
Who I used to.
It's like, dude, even Jesus wasn't held to that standard.
It was coming into the place of walking in my true identity, who God.
No, that's not your true identity. You being a repressive freak is not your true identity. That's not how it works. Living for another man, Jesus, I mean, that's kind of gay, but like, I don't think that's your true identity.
And from that moment on, I decided, I want to take the step. I received the gift of the Holy Spirit.
Jesus is a woman, actually true. Jesus is my favorite Black, transgender, disabled, independent, strong, wheelchair-bound, deaf woman of color. She's my favorite DEI hire.
Spirit, I got baptized, and I've been living for Jesus ever since. It's been 12 years now, and it's been a journey.
Wow, 12 years of repression. I'm so proud.
Yes, it has been a journey, and I feel like with deliverance is a process. It's a journey, and it's constantly going on that journey with Jesus, and I'm on that journey, and it's been amazing.
I want to touch on something because you mentioned
apparently he thinks it's amazing to not be able to be himself.
That you wanted to become
Jesus the first Mary Sue, no, literally
manly again, but not in the way that society or people are making it out to be, but in the way that God designed you. Can you expand on what that means?
Hold on. If God designed everybody, then wouldn't he necessarily design trans people to have the brain structure that causes them to have a gender incongruence in the first place? Like, it's literally been scientifically proven that the brain of the average trans woman before any medical intervention, before HRT or anything, is far closer to that of the average cis woman than that of the average cis man. So if we're all created in God's perfect design or whatever the fuck, then wouldn't necessarily be the case that he would also create your brain, in which case he would have given you a female brain in a male body. What do you think that means
for you?
So when I say that, because I think we equate masculinity to football or sports.
Well, no, you're conflating gender expression with gender identity,
and it's not. I still don't like sports. I try to like it, but I just don't. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it.
So you still don't fit into the masculine archetype entirely.
But I can sit there and watch it. But people will equate that.
Yeah, you can force yourself to watch it. That's
awesome.
awesome.
Oh, he likes arts. Something's not right there. Why is he not playing soccer or football or something like that? And
no, there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously,
can easily put an identifier on a child or something. My thing is I want to be a man how God created me to be, and which is to.
Okay, what if he created you with a brain that's misaligned with your body? Then what? Like, is that not how God created you? Like, he created me with the desire to transition, and with a brain that is more aligned with that of a female than that of a male. So, like, is that my fault? No. Okay, so what can I do? Well, the best thing I can do is transition in order to maximize my happiness at the expense of nobody. Also, we're losing concurrence. What's going on? Dude, this is a very weird stream. We got really high concurrence and then it like dropped off.
Love him and to follow his commandments and to live uprightly before him. And to me, that equates a man. It's living according to his word. It's living how he wants me to live and not what society tells me how I should.
Hold on, wait. You do realize that how society tells you to live is how you're living. Like the people around you dictated that you live the way that you're living. Society is the one that's dictating that actually men are supposed to have short hair instead of long hair. And then you're sitting here saying that society doesn't dictate how you live. Well, that's a lie. Because whether or not long hair is like acceptable for you to have is entirely dictated by society.
Could be, or what society tells me about who I am and who I should follow, all this other stuff. And it's like, I want to live according to how he tells me personally through his scripture.
Well, how do you know that he tells you to live a certain way? Also, isn't his scripture going to be translated and mistranslated multiple times? Also, aren't there going to be certain things where you might interpret it wrong?
Through his word.
Yeah, the algorithm is very weird.
Okay, and if you were to talk to someone that is struggling with their gender identity.
Oh, that's like me. I'm struggling with gender confusion and transgenderism and the woke mind virus. It's talking about me.
You struggled for a long time, and I'm sure that you would have appreciated to have a mentor, someone that's been there.
Oh, dude, this guy's going to be my mentor. Okay, what does he tell me?
You can confide in. If you can talk to someone like that today, what would you say to them?
I recently had a conversation like that with a young boy who struggling with his sexuality. And what I would say to them, I would honestly say that God's not mad at you. What you're feeling.
Well, I would certainly fucking hope not. Well, why would anybody be mad at me for existing and doing something that causes no objective or measurable harm? I would certainly hope not. Like, if God is real, why would he be mad at me?
Your emotions right now, he's not mad at you. He's not judging you.
Oh, he's not judging me. Okay, so he has no issue with it, right? He's not judging me, right?
He loves you.
That's good news.
If I had someone to tell me those words, that God loves me, that he sees me where I'm at, and that he's willing to walk with me through the process of my feelings and emotions, to let me know that those emotions, those feelings don't dictate your identity.
Your identity? What do you mean by your identity? Like, they don't necessarily have to. You dictate your identity, not your emotions necessarily. But you could use your emotions as a reference.
Does it give your feelings and your emotions don't give you purpose? But his word does.
Well, it could be either, right? You could find purpose in anything, right? Like, you decide what your purpose is.
God's presence gives you purpose, and he begins to tell you who you are. And I would.
Oh, so you don't get to decide who you are. He decides for you. You see why that's a bit fucking absurd? Like, oh, I'm not allowed to be me. I'm not allowed to, like, live my own life and in peace and do what makes me happy and the people around me happy. No. No, that would make too much logical sense, okay? I need somebody to dictate how I live my life on my behalf. Like, that's insane.
But tell them that God loves you. God has a purpose and a plan for you. That the stuff that you're going through in this.
I guess his purpose and plan for this guy is to be repressive. I assume he thinks that the same thing applies to me.
You're not alone. There's many people who are dealing with the struggle or the thoughts of what you're feeling, and you're
okay. What's the struggle exactly? Not being accepted or just being gay? Because like being gay in of itself is not the struggle.
You're not alone, and I would just encourage you to reach out. Whether if you are associated with the church or maybe you have family members who are associated in serving Jesus, I would encourage you to reach out to them and ask them questions. Ask them the hard questions.
Well, why would they have the answers? Like, what if I've already asked them questions? What if it's the case that in middle school I asked my fucking pastors and shit a bunch of questions and they were unable to answer them satisfactorily with it to a I guess in a way that's satisfactory, right? Like I specifically remember I would have been in like what 6th or 7th grade, and whatever I was really starting to question my faith or whatever, right? I was a Christian originally, and one of the main questions on my mind is if God is all loving and all forgiving, then why would he send people to hell to suffer infinitely for their finite actions? And this is a question that I mean, my parents literally had one of the pastors that is from the church that we went to come to our house and talk to me about it. And basically his response was, these are really good questions. I don't really have an answer. Maybe God will have the answer. Unfortunately, God didn't have the answer because he isn't real. At least in my opinion, he isn't. I have no evidence to believe that, at least not the Christian God, right? Or the Muslim God or any God that's been depicted by humans. I don't believe that that's real, right? At least not accurately, right?
You know, ask them the tough questions. I wish I had that around me. And it's
But I did ask the tough questions. And nobody was able to properly answer them. People are like, wow, that's a really good question. I guess, I don't know, maybe you have to ask God, right? Like, okay, again, like a question like, okay, if it's the case that God is all forgiving and all knowing and omnipresent and all powerful and all loving and all forgiving, right? He's all of those things. It is logically impossible that specific God would send somebody to hell to suffer infinitely for their finite actions with no second chances. This is a concept that is diametrically opposed to forgiveness and kindness and compassion and love, right? These are mutually exclusive, right?
it's not really a known thing for a lot of churches to do that or really know how to communicate with people who struggle like I did or maybe struggling like you did. But trust me, God will
What am I struggling with, though?
put somebody in your path to teach you, to show you that you are not a mistake, that you have a plan and a purpose.
Is there any evidence of this? Like a plan and a purpose for what? For what ends? Like what are we talking about here? Like what is the purpose of what? You being more masculine? Like who does that benefit specifically? Like who is that for?
And there's definitely a call on your life.
Thanks for listening to this episode.
Anyways, that was fucking cringe. That was a very pathetic, poorly put together video. Yeah, what can I say? I really need to pee. Okay, I could see. Okay, and then I'm gonna analyze the statistics of this live stream because I think this is very interesting to look at. Okay, so I'm gonna be right back. All right, I'm not going anywhere. All right, other than the bathroom. All right, I'm gonna be back. All right, very soon. All right, I'm very sorry. Very, very sorry. That was gross. No, literally, it's like, damn, that's crazy. Mental illness be like, but yeah. Anyways, give me a second, chat. All right. Alright, chat, I'm back, everybody. I'm so sorry about the small interruption. We're currently streaming in front of, oh dear, 24 of our closest friends and family. Okay. I'm gonna drink some water, and then I'm gonna, like, analyze something, because I think it's useful, I think it's important, I think it's interesting. Alright. We're just gonna chill for a second. Okay. Now, alright. Now, this is interesting. This is very, 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 very interesting, okay? So, I didn't stream yesterday or the day before, I don't think. I was rot maxing. I'm gonna be honest. So, if you look here, okay, 12,000 total views. Currently, we're getting 36 concurrents. Average view duration. This is fascinating. 38 seconds. And I wonder why. 38 seconds. So, it must have been recommending it to a lot of new people, right? So the average view duration that it's leveling out at is significantly lower this time. And I wonder why. So if you look here, right? So this would have been like when I started the stream, right? So there's 0 people, I started the stream, right? And then after like 10 minutes or so, because I was super high energy and stuff, really, really fucking skyrocketed. I think I might have become like a little bit more low energy, I guess you could say, or like, because like I was really into it, like in like the first like however many minutes. So I was like coming up with all the best shit to say, and then I don't know. Can a man and a man make a child without any stuff, only sex? Yeah, if it's a trans man and a cis man, yes, that actually is technically possible, depending on how we define the term man. Now, if you were to change that to, can a biological male and another biological male have a child? Then the answer is no. Hey Femyoz, nice chair. Can I replace it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Hell yeah. Dude, my hair is a mess. I'm sorry. Let me fix that real quick. Alright. Alright. Anyways. Hello, Bottom and Sup Mod Squad. Why, hello, Daddy VM. It's very good to see you again. It's very good to see you again. But yeah, with that being said, we can keep trying. Real. Wait, what are we trying at? I'm so confused. Arguments are different. Wait, what's going on here? I haven't been paying too much attention to chat. Maybe that was like benefiting me when we were doing the segment. I don't know. Like maybe when I do a segment, it's better if I don't like hyperfixate on chat. Not hyperfixate, but you know what I mean. Because like towards the end, I was getting a little bit more tired, so I was just like sort of reading chat a lot of the time. And maybe that's like a flaw of mine, is I read chat too much during a segment when I should just mainly focus on the content. I could be wrong, but we were battling it out with the Christians. Yeah, that's fair. Maybe if y'all are interacting with each other, that like works better than if it's like me responding to everything. Whereas like with a segment like this, where it's more like, okay, yeah, I can like talk to people and shit, right? Anyways, Femyoz, I have a question. Go for it. I would never be sus. Yo, me neither. That would be crazy. Could you imagine? I live off of bothering trolls. Yeah. Here's the thing: is I'm like a little bit of a troll myself. Also, thank you, Patal Crafter, you beautiful fucking bastard, for the $10 saying W stream. I couldn't possibly agree more. Thank you so much. Feel free to request purring into the mic or Skirt Go Spinny. I'm just saying. Also, we're almost halfway at the dono goal, which is $50, of course. We're currently at $39.20. So if somebody were to donate, like, whatever, $11 more or whatever, right? Then we'd be halfway, right? And when we get halfway, you know what we put on? We put on the cat ears, okay? The cat ears go on. Spinnies? All right, I will do spinnies. So yeah, I put on the cat ears once we hit half the dono goal or more. So yeah, I guess $10.80, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm bad at math, okay? But that sounds about right. I think, based on what I could be wrong. I think that's, yeah. I hope those were good. I hope I did a good job there. And yeah. Oh, I'm over here. Okay, cute. Why, thank you. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, the average view duration is now leveling out at 39 seconds, so it's increased slightly, obviously, because it's recommending it to less people, and the people that are staying here are, well, increasing the average view duration, obviously, which is you guys. Yes, you, the beautiful people watching. Interesting. If you were born male, why did you change? Because I wasn't really satisfied with that. I decided I didn't want to masculinize, I guess is a good way of putting it. Like, I got to a point where I was like, I just didn't want to look any more masculine than I already did. And I inevitably would have, right? I inevitably would have looked more masculine if I just, whatever, proceeded through the rest of male puberty, right? Because I started estrogen a little over a year ago, right? So I was barely 19, right? So June 2nd of 2023. That's like a little under a year and a half ago now. And obviously, like, well into your 20s, you continue to masculinize. And I really didn't want that. I hated the idea of my face structure becoming more masculine, of me growing more facial hair, etc. I didn't want any of that. And because I didn't want any of that, I decided, okay, because I don't want any of that, I'm just gonna like go on estrogen, right? I'm like, okay. So I did a bunch of research, right, to make sure it was the right move, right? I did all the research, okay, like, where do I get it? Like, what are the potential side effects? I really thought about it, like, okay, like, if hypothetically I stopped naturally producing hormones, and then I went to the doctor, and it's like, okay, like, you gotta have some hormone. It's either gonna be estrogen or testosterone, right? And then they presented both options. I would choose estrogen, right? So obviously that's my preference. And I decided, okay, well, because that's my preference, and because I would rather look more feminine, and because I would be happier if I was more feminine looking, and worse off if I was more masculine looking, I'm gonna do the thing that causes me the ultimate net positive in my life, I guess you could say. And so you want to give birth to a kid? Not necessarily. I don't believe that technology that would allow me to like get like a functioning womb transplant and whatnot that would allow me to get pregnant. I don't think I don't think technology would advance quickly enough for me to be able to experience that in my lifetime. I mean, me personally, I'm not really interested in giving birth anyway, but I mean, it does come across as something that would be painful. Then why be female? What do you mean by that? Like I want to be perceived as feminine, if that makes sense, right? Like I prefer being categorized by society in a certain way. I prefer she, her pronouns, and I prefer having like a more like feminine looking face. I like having titties, etc. You look totally female. Why, thank you. Right? So like I want to look more feminine is like one of the main things, right? Nobody's going to call you by your pronouns. There are a lot of people that do. I mean, I can't make you. I can't like hold a gun to your head and force you to use the correct pronouns, right? But like it's generally like a nicer thing to do. Why do you want to look more feminine? To maximize my happiness, right? Like it's the same reason, like I don't know, say for instance, like why don't you want to, I don't know, stub your toe, right? Well, the reason is because it hurts, right? Like stubbing your toe sucks. Like there's like a negative feeling associated with that, right? Right. So for me, looking more masculine has like a negative feeling associated with it, right? There's not necessarily like a rational reason to have that feeling. That's just something that exists. Also, thank you so much, Elbert, for the $10.80, bringing us halfway, exactly halfway, to the dono goal, saying cat ears pog. Well, I mean, yeah. Thank you very much. And yes, we have to wear cat ears for the rest of the stream because we're halfway past the dono goal. So that's something I do, is once we're halfway, I put the cat ears on. That's like a thing I started doing. I used to just have them on for the entire stream. And then there'd be times where like I would just like forget to wear them. And it's like sometimes I like the look of them off better than the look of them on. It really depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, we're at exactly $50. Bottom ears activated W. They're not bottom ears. Shut up. All right. I won't admit to being a bottom unless we get all the way to the dono goal. That's one that stays the same. Is someone holding the camera? No, it's AI. It moves around and shit. Unless there's a little gnome on my desk. Who knows? Maybe there's a little gnome on the desk. Oh my god, the bells are so adorable. The bottom bell. They're not bottomy. What do you mean? Fem, do the head shake. Dude, now my hair is messed up. Now I have to brush it again. Wear cat ears if you're a bottom. There's nothing bottomy about wearing cat ears, okay? They're top. They are. It's a top hat, okay? Not a bottom hat. A top hat. I'm not even being adorable or anything. So I don't know what y'all are on about. Everything you do is bottomy? Nuh-uh. Not true. I would never be bottomy. Because you're a bottom? No. I would never do anything bottomy. That'd be crazy. Why are people saying aw in chat? Her face is pink? No, it's not. Shut up. You're so pretty. Thank you. Everything you do is bottomy because you're a bottom. I am not a bottom, all right? Anyways. What happened? Eyebrows, no hate. I guess I did them, but I messed them up slightly if that's what you're wondering. Like, I think I overplucked a couple hairs, but other than that, I mean, they're fine. You are very pretty, thank you. The cat ears are so adorable. Aw, I like the brows. They're pretty. Thank you. Femi made the B in the LGBTQIA plus bottom. Oh my god. This is very boring. I'm out. That's the second time you said that. Are you sure you're out? If you say it like multiple times, like, are you sure? Or you just want me to read it out loud or what? No one is forcing you to stay. You could have just like swiped. You don't have to virtue signal. Be like, guys, I am leaving this stream. This stream is bad. I'm gonna leave. Let me performatively talk about how I'm gonna leave. Anyways. I still need to understand the lore of trans girls and kitty ears. I don't even understand it myself. Her face is so pink. Haha, it's been like a minute. My face is not pink. Shut up. You're such a top right now. Exactly. See, you get it. Even though I'm a huge Christian, I respect you answering my questions respectfully and honestly, even though I don't believe in what you do or think. Well, I mean, that's like the first step, right? Is intellectual honesty, right? Because I used to have a very different worldview. In fact, at one point, my worldview would have been more in line with yours, what yours currently is, right? Like, I used to be a Christian. I used to believe in God and Jesus. I was a Lutheran, to be specific. I used to not believe that trans people were real. I used to think that there were only two genders, right? But after, whatever, thinking about things from both a philosophical standpoint, doing research, and asking myself many different questions and asking different people questions and seeing what their answers are, I've come to the most rational conclusions that I've been able to, right? And a lot of the positions that I hold right now are ones that if you asked me fucking 10 years ago or even 5 years ago if I would hold those positions, I would say no. Also, hello, Claudia. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. Femi will never be a top. Nuh-uh, that's not true. I am clearly a top. All right? I would never not be a top. That would be crazy. Could you imagine me being a bottom? That'd be insane, bro. That'd be crazy. God bless you, my brothers and sisters. Hell yeah, bro. Hey, Femyoz, say something toppy. Okay, fine. Something toppy. There you go. I did it. Checkmate, liberal. I'm playing with fire right now. So real, Filthy Frank Reborn. So fucking real. Okay, now the average view duration is 40 seconds. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Sorry, I'm just like in the background of vaguely analyzing stuff. Anyways. That was the bottomiest shit I've ever heard. No. That was not bottomy in the slightest. What do you mean? What do you mean? I didn't say anything bottomy. Keldoge, I'm not being bottomy, am I? Please vouch for me, please. Bottom response. It's not a bottom response. I'm hoping that at least Keldoge can defend me, please. I feel like Keldoge isn't as in on like the whole like Femyoz bottom allegations thing. I feel like Keldoge is gonna have his own independent opinion. You know? His own independent opinion that isn't warped and manipulated by you guys. What was that? Did I just hear something? Sorry. Come on, defend me, defend me. We need at least... Oh god, did I lag? Sorry, it said chat disconnected for a sec. Anyways, don't listen to her, she's a bottom. I'm not. Not a bottom response. Thank you, Keldoge, for being incredibly fucking based. See, you understand that I am not somebody that has any bottom responses. Yeah, see, Claudia gets it. I'm not a bottom. There's nothing bottomy about me. And, yeah, that's just like a fact, you know? And, you know, I don't even have to admit to anything until we reach the dono goal, which we have not. So I'm just saying, if you're top, why do you love bottoming so much? Shut up. Based on what? What gives you that impression? Do you have any evidence? Do you have a source? Holy shit. Thank you, DateAVM, for the $50. Holy shit. Can we get some 07s in chat? Oh, fuck. Does that mean I have to admit to being a bottom? God damn it. Lift your chair for 45 seconds, please. Mwah, mwah. Love Dede. P.S. My birthday was Wednesday. So I'm officially the older one. Get fucked. Well, happy birthday. Holy shit. Also, thank you, Hoopty Scoopty, for the $1 saying your autism is showing. Also, I'm on antipsychotics now. Also, get blunt bangs, please, for your own sake. God damn, I might have to get bangs. Holy shit. I did not expect a $50 dono. I was not, dude, Jesus fucking Christ. Alright, I guess I have to lift my chair for 45 seconds. God damn it. Oh dear, dude, this is gonna be such a pain in the ass. Okay, wait. Oh god, this is. Don't make fun of me if it's heavy, okay? Bro, my hair is in my face already. What the fuck? Dude, as soon as I took the headphones off, it's like, dude, my hair is like, yeah, fuck you, Femyoz. Fuck you, bitch. Alright. But yes, my autism is showing. Alright, you know what? Fuck it. Alright. 45 seconds starting now. Oh god. Oh god. Alright, this isn't so bad so far. It's not that heavy, guys. I mean, it is. It's very heavy, but I'm just super What do you mean weak? I'm not weak. I'm lifting my... I've been lifting it for a while now. Like 20-something seconds. For 25 seconds now, alright? I don't want to hear this Femyoz, you're weak stuff, okay? Alright, I'm very strong. Look, were you a bottom? Yes, because we're at the door. Well, fuck you. Wait, just shut up. That was 45 seconds. The chair is not that heavy. Yes, it is. I'm just strong, okay? Shut up. She's a subby, bratty bottom. Shut up. Strongest Lutheran. Well, I'm not a Lutheran anymore. I'm an atheist. Fun fact. Oh my god. That was she's so strong. Why did you put strong in quotations? I lifted this heavy, heavy chair for 45 seconds. That's like a long time, okay? Femi out of breath from lifting a chair. Shut up. Shut up, okay? It's a heavy chair, alright? That was a workout. Don't pretend like you wouldn't also struggle, okay? Alright? The fuck lol, hashtag tipster news. This is true. She's such a good girl, Lamau. Hell yeah. To be honest, that chair actually looks pretty heavy. Thank you, Elbert. See, you understand. You understand my struggle. You understand why I was struggling. Lutherans are ontologically gay. True. True. Even if you become an atheist or some other religion, if you're born into that shit, you end up being gay. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Alright, chat. Alright. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh, fuck. Now my hair's a mess. God damn it. I put my fucking headphones back on. But it's like, dude, these like little strands of hair are like all in my fucking face. Hold on. I gotta find a way to like make it like... so that it doesn't like... but then if I do... Bro, it's like I'm dude. No matter what I do, I feel like it just like ends up... because it's like always like one or two... like... it's like always like a few strands of hair. It's so annoying. Anyways, alright, I think I fixed it. I hope, maybe. Your hair is adorable, hun. Thank you, thank you. Anyways. No, you're so cute. The hair is adorable. Thank you. Femi, I threw up. I'm sorry to hear that, Jay. I'm sorry to hear that. It's heavy to bottoms. Shut up. Weekios, be quiet. Shut up. The bottom testing chair. That's racist stuff. Wait, what? Oh, official bottom testing chair. I got blunt bangs and I don't have that problem. Maybe I should get them. I don't know. I haven't gotten a haircut in like well over a year. It's probably been like, maybe it's closer to 2 years now. Only one troll stayed until I became actually aggro weak. Hey, yo. Well, goddamn. If I mean, maybe in another universe you're a top. What? Oh, shut up! I was about to say in this one I am, but we hit the donut goal. God damn it. Everyone saying you're a bottom is just projecting. You know what? Maybe we're all bottoms. Maybe that's the truth, you know? Because then I'm technically not denying it. I'm just, yeah. Anyways. Girl, your hair is dried out 1 year. Wait, what? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I've been growing it out for 1 year. I'm a, quote, bottom, haha, fuck you. Why are you putting it in quotes? Quote, unquote, bottom, get the fuck out of here. Oh my god. You said you used to be Lutheran. Could you speak on that a little bit more? I'm just curious. If not, then that's okay. I don't want to force any uncomfortable topics on you. Yeah, I've talked about this before. I guess I'll give like a brief summary. I guess there were too many like, unanswered questions and too many logical contradictions, I guess you could say, right? Like the idea of going to hell to suffer infinitely on the basis of your finite actions, came across as absurd to me, right? Like, okay, so if this God is all loving and all forgiving, then why would he send somebody to suffer in hell infinitely for their finite actions where, like, he's, like, all forgiving and all loving, but, like, then once you die, it's, like, actually he's not all loving or forgiving anymore because, like, he doesn't forgive you once you're already dead? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Like, that's completely illogical. Like, if he's all forgiving, then somebody in hell that seeks forgiveness would go to heaven, right? Because he's, like, all forgiving. Blunt bangs are just the classic full bangs that cover your forehead. Anyways. Why isn't anyone telling me? Oh, okay. You got mad split ends? Probably, at least? Yeah, probably. I haven't gotten a haircut in over a year, but... maybe I need to. Maybe it's time. Chat, do I get a haircut? Just, like, I don't know. I'd probably just get, like, like, whatever, like, the ends trimmed. That's it. Nothing else, really. Shoulder length hair would be cute. Maybe we go back to shoulder length. I don't know. I mean, it is easier to maintain hair that's shoulder length. Chat, do you want to watch an incel? Do you want to watch an incel? I kind of want to watch... I kind of want to watch an incel. I don't know. What about you guys? Do you guys want to watch an incel? If you trim your hair, it will grow farther? Yeah, I know. The reason I haven't gotten a haircut isn't because I'm trying to grow it out more. It's just because I'm fucking lazy, and it's like, well, I don't feel like I need one. Tie your hair black like Johnny. I'd have to, like, dye my eyebrows as well. Chat, do you want to watch another video from the one and only True Forced Incel? The True Forced Incel? The guy we reacted to last stream? I mean, I don't know. I think that we should react to him. What do you guys think, chat? I think I want to react to him. Because there's a video from a month ago he made called Be Wary of Single Women. Okay. Sorry, I misread that. Not single women. Be wary of single woman. I guess if there's a singular woman, you gotta be wary. Not women that are single. Just a single woman. Just be very wary, okay?
What's going on, guys? It's the True Forced Incel here. Back making another video, man. I want to talk a bit about something that has been bugging me for a very long time.
Oh, wow, it's been bugging him. It must be very important.
And I think it's only fair that I kind of share this with you guys, man. It's about being aware of single women.
Okay.
Honestly, I trust 10 out of 10s as
What? Okay.
far as I can fucking throw them, man. I trust most women as far as I can fucking throw them.
What does that even mean?
A lot of guys say, oh, there's this really awesome girl in my life. She's so pretty. She's got a good personality. That's very rare. That's very hard to fucking find these days, isn't it, man?
Maybe you're not looking in the right places? I'm sorry, what?
But the reality is, man, I know I hate to be the one to have to break this to you, man.
Oh, dude, he's gonna break it to me. He's gonna break it to me.
It breaks my heart. It
It breaks his heart. Don't worry, guys. He's on our side.
shatters my heart that I have to be the one to tell you this.
Dude, he's the bearer of bad news, guys.
But she doesn't fucking love you, man.
Lime! Lime, is this true? Is it true that you don't love me? Chat. Fuck. No. It breaks my heart.
Okay, it's obvious she does not fucking love
It's obvious. What? I haven't noticed. No, I love you. Oh, thank God. Thank you, Lime.
you. I mean, this is a problem with a lot of fucking sibs.
I love you too.
And a lot of, desperate fucking men who have been single and lonely for years or even decades.
Decades. I mean, I don't know. I've never really been desperate, but I mean...
Or even worse, have been single and lonely their entire existence. There's two things you need to be aware of, man.
Okay, 2 things we have to be aware of.
And I'm only telling you this to save you guys from getting your heart
Oh, dude, he's gonna save us. He's gonna save us.
broken.
Oh, dude, my heart isn't gonna be broken. He's gonna save me.
Because this is reality. Whether you want to
Okay, it's reality. He has a very firm grasp on reality,
fucking
clearly.
believe it or not, man, this is reality.
Okay?
Now, I don't make videos like these to try to discourage
Okay, he's not gonna try to discourage. Okay, just keep that in
men from
mind.
finding a partner.
Uh-huh.
But you got to look at your history. You got to
Okay, what my history is like, I don't know, like, not bad.
look at the societal standards.
The societal standards, I mean, I don't know. I don't really adhere to any societal standards, alright? I wear fucking cat ears on YouTube live streams, alright? I wear fucking maid outfits sometimes.
And you got to look at the fact that women are fucking pigs, alright? Women are
pigs? Why are they pigs? That's not very nice. 50% of the population is just pigs? That's kind of fucked up.
demonic, evil
They're demonic and evil? Why are women demonic and evil?
pieces of fucking shit from the fiery pits of hell. I mean, I felt demonic dark energy, man, from someone who's spiritual.
Oh shit, dude. Holy fuck. He's felt the demonic dark energy. So clearly you must stay away from women. They're demonic and evil.
I felt fucking demons and dark energy.
Dude, he felt the demons and dark energy, okay? He felt their negative. What the fuck is it called? It's like something energy. I don't remember. It was something that like people that are like delusional believe.
Far beyond what you'd picture in a fucking film, man. Like, you know, if you are an empath like me, if you're spiritual, you will know what
Oh, dude, he's an empath. He's spiritual.
demonic and dark
He knows these things. He knows that it's the
energy
demons.
feels like. And
It's all the women are being possessed by demons.
if there ever was a fucking demon, man, it's the shit that we fucking go through with incels.
Oh, dude, yeah, your life is so hard. Complaining on the internet all day. Oh, dude, it must be so difficult.
It's what
As an empath, incel, woman
a
hater.
fucking 90% of modern women have fucking become. And not just fucking
90% of modern women. That is 45% of the population. You hate 45% of the population.
women, man, but fucking people in general. Think about it. Like, you're
He's gonna start yammering about the dimensional merge.
probably
True.
30 years old. Or if you're like me, you're 32, bro. I'm 32, by the way, man. Bro, like,
You'll look even worse than
like,
that.
if
But
you're
okay.
fucking 32 and you've never had, like, any woman, you know, show you any fucking interest,
Then maybe you should, I don't know, do something different. You know, the definition of insanity, after all, is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, which clearly he's been doing. It's like he expects, like, one day, magically, some fucking beautiful 10 out of 10 woman will just be so interested in him. It's like, what do you have to offer?
why now? Why the fuck would any woman in her fucking right mind show
Well, she wouldn't want you right now because you haven't done anything to change. You have to actually do something
you
differently.
some interest now?
I don't know, maybe if you changed, then maybe there would be some sort of interest.
I mean, I hate to do this, man, and this sounds really douchey. I sound like an absolute total fucking douchebag
Then maybe you are one.
saying this, man, but you gotta look at yourself. Let's compare you to fucking Chad, right?
Oh, yeah, dude, that's like a very healthy thing to do. Compare yourself to Chad.
Let's look at you at the age of 32, and let's look at Chad at the age of
Well, I mean, I'm 20 years old, but okay.
32. Chad at the age of 32 has probably maybe done some time in the military,
Okay.
served his country, has some medals.
What?
He's probably maybe got an array of really interesting hobbies. He's probably a
Okay, so you have to serve in the military, have very interesting hobbies. Let's go on.
professional football player. He's
You have to be a professional football player.
probably does a lot for charity.
You have to do a lot for charity, okay?
He has a lot going on in his life, man. He's probably
Okay, so let me get this straight. You have to have served in the military, do a shit ton for charity, be a professional football player. What was the other thing he mentioned? Like what the fuck is he on? Like, who is looking for this? Like, all by the age of 32?
probably gone back to school to go and do a mature age apprenticeship as a carpenter. You know, he probably owns his own fucking hot
Oh, and he has to be a carpenter.
dog business. He's got
Oh, and he has to own a dog business. Okay, yeah, this is definitely women's dating standards. That's so
a lot
true.
going on in his life, man. You know, he's tall. He's got the nat.
Oh, and he has to be tall, of course. You can't forget that one. So you have to be tall, a professional football player. You have to have served in the military. You have to have a dog business. You have to donate a shit ton of money to charity. For like, what are these standards? No woman has these standards. This is made up. This is a fucking delusion.
Natural stature to protect the woman that he loves. He's handsome.
Okay.
He's got a lot that women would find very interesting. Whereas with you, man, you're like the complete opposite. Like, I'm sorry, no offense, but you're ugly and you're
Dude, I'm the complete opposite. Damn, that's so sad.
short. You're a
I am short. Okay. Dude, I'm ugly. I'm short. Okay. I mean, I'm 5'6", so he's not wrong about that.
spastic, retarded fucking freak, just like me, bro.
I'm nothing like you. I'm sorry.
And you have a lot of things that I can see a lot of women being very not attracted to.
Okay, so what are women gonna not be attracted to, right?
Very unattracted to, man.
Okay, what are
And
they?
again, I'm just being fucking
Is it because I'm short? I don't know. I'm 5'6", and my girlfriend who's 5'11" finds me attractive, and vice
real
versa.
with you, man. I'm keeping it 100% real.
100%. Okay.
So you take all that into account. The 32
Okay.
years that you've existed in this fucking world, man. No girls ever.
Yeah, but I'm 20 and I have a relationship. All right, like I don't see what you're on about. Like I have a relationship with somebody who's infinitely prettier than me. Now she's gonna disagree with that, but she is by far the prettiest person I've ever fucking seen. I swear to God. And you're gonna sit here and tell me like, yeah, if you're a biological male and you're 5'6", you're short, you're not masculine, you're not a professional football player, you didn't serve in the military, then give up. Like that's fucking insane.
Ever shown you any interest? Why now? What makes now any fucking different?
Well, nothing, unless you do something to change. So that's why you would do something to change, right?
Okay, you've met it, but here's the thing. I'm not, like, average to below average is one thing, man, but if you get into, like, the fucking sub-3 category, if you're...
Who is categorizing it this way aside from you and other incels? Nobody is thinking about a number scale.
Sub-3 and she's a fucking 8. Like, why... And you've never had a girlfriend. Why all of a sudden is a fucking 8 talking to a sub-3? I would be very suspicious of that, mate.
Yeah, just make sure to be suspicious. If on the off chance that you actually get like a potential relationship with somebody that you find attractive, that finds you attractive, well, you should be skeptical because there's no way anybody could possibly want to be with you, right?
Because one, you got to look at why she's fucking single. Like, women have options. You don't.
No, not necessarily. But, like, what? This is a fucking lie. Like, even before I transitioned, when I was in fucking high school, I had options, right? Now, granted, I wasn't really paying too much attention to dating and whatnot, because I, was busy with other shit, because I was a competitive swimmer, I was focused on academic shit, and I needed some time to myself, right? But after COVID, it was like, okay, well, shit, I have more free time now, and I started dating people, right? And it was actually a woman who approached me and asked me out that caused my first relationship that was long-term to start. So you're just wrong. And it's not like I was like a super masculine, good-looking dude. I was a 5'6", effeminate twink. So like by your own standards, like I'm not Chad. Fucking shorter than you. So like why the fuck do I get bitches? Well, maybe it's because, I don't know, I have like a personality, or maybe different people look for different things. Not everybody is looking for a fucking the 6'4" Giga Chad with like a huge muscles.
Okay. Women have options. You don't.
Fem, that was a benefit of your subby. You're not wrong.
And she knows that.
I was single because I hadn't found someone I was interested in yet. Yeah, there's that too. That's like another reason. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, for me, it's hard to find somebody that I'm actually interested in. So it's like, as soon as I met Lime, I'm like, oh shit. Like, no way. This isn't a real person, is it? Being short equals easier to pin, by the way, so that's a plus. Look,
She knows that you're a desperate, lonely fucker who's ugly, who's retarded, and just the most pathetic fucking thing to ever exist. That's what...
Like, you just know for a fact he's projecting. Like, this is how he sees himself.
You are, man. If you're like me, you're not worth fucking jack shit.
Okay, then do something to change it. I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with your personality, because I've seen plenty of dudes that, whatever, aren't particularly attractive that have girlfriends. Like, what the fuck?
Fucking air is fucking worth more than you, man. A fucking dog has fucking...
Like, he's just projecting.
More rights than you, if you're like me, bro.
No, a dog doesn't have more rights than you. That, like, what is this weird victim mentality?
And this is the fucking thing, like...
Yeah, he doesn't realize that maybe there's something wrong with his personality, regardless of what he looks like.
A woman sees that.
Mm-hmm.
She smells desperation from a fucking mile away.
Well, then maybe you should stop acting fucking desperate. Maybe you should fix yourself rather than hyperfixating on what you currently can't have. Like, if a relationship happens, then it happens, but don't be fucking desperate. Don't like, whatever, act desperate around every single woman that you find moderately attractive. Like, that, yeah, no shit, you're not gonna get bitches that way.
And what do women do when they smell desperation, men? They either fucking run the other way, or they'll exploit you.
Okay, so if it's the case that they're not attracted to desperation, which I agree with, people generally aren't attracted to desperation. I mean, unless it's in like a submissive bottomy kind of way, in which case, like, oh, dude, like, I'm desperate, please let me, actually, I'm not gonna say that on stream, but you know what I mean. You know where I'm going with that, right? Generally, yeah, I would agree. Like, somebody that's desperate, I wouldn't particularly find attractive, depending on the way they're desperate, sort of, but you get what I mean. So maybe don't conduct yourself that way. You don't have to conduct yourself as somebody that's desperate. You can conduct yourself differently, right? Continue what you were saying off stream. All right, I will.
The only reason she's being your friend, or if you're lucky enough to get fucking pity sex and you get a good go on those fucking tits, man, you know, and you
I don't know. Maybe the reason you don't get bitches is because you objectify them.
get to put your dick in a fucking hard drive, man. If you're like, fuck me, dude. If anyone ever gets that,
It's like he describes sex as putting your dick in the hard drive, unironically, like not as a joke. And he wonders why he doesn't get bitches. I don't know. Could be anything. Truly, it's really a mystery.
like to have pity sex,
Hello there, like your cat ears. Thank
you
you.
fucking mate, alright? Any sex is fucking better than no sex, in my opinion. But if she's not even giving you fucking sex, man, she's only
Dude, I'm sorry. What?
like fucking being your fucking friend, being nice to you.
Yeah, she can have friends with people that are men without having sex with them. That's like normal.
She's only doing that to suck you in.
No, that's actually not true. Maybe she just sees you as a friend. Like, do you not see that as a potential case scenario? You think, oh yeah, dude, the reason she doesn't want to have sex with me and only has this platonic relationship with me is because she's trying to use me? Like, there's something fundamentally wrong with your thought process. Like, what?
Because she knows that you're fucking desperate and will do anything. And
No, that's you. That's you projecting. Why, like, unless you're coming across as desperate, she has no reason to believe that.
she can get whatever the fuck she wants out of you, man. Are you like mentally retarded? Are you like
Well, I'm sorry, if she doesn't want to sleep with you, then she doesn't want to sleep with you. Like, you're not owed
too
sex.
fucking dumb to see that?
Too dumb to see what? Like, what if she literally just wants to be your
This
friend
is what
and
I-
nothing else? Like, not everyone, not every time a woman wants to interact with you has to be for sex, or sexual attraction or romantic attraction. She might just want a friend.
Hate about fucking simps. I hate those I despise those motherfuckers, man. Like, I despise those motherfuckers. Like,
Why?
fucking simps, man.
Bye bye,
I
goodbye.
fucking hate them.
Okay.
Not only do they sacrifice what little self-worth and integrity and self-respect they have, man, but
Like you have any self-respect? Like
they
what?
put these fucking cunts, these women, if you can even call them that. I mean, in my mind, they're not even, you know, most women out there, they're not even fucking human beings, man. They're fucking
Yeah, definitely not misogynistic though. He swears on his life. He's not complete misogynist. He just thinks that most women aren't even human.
shits of the earth, man.
It's like, yeah, we know. We know that you think of them as objects to be controlled.
Scumbag, disgusting,
And then you wonder why you don't get
evil
bitches.
sluts, shits of the fucking earth, man. That's what these fucking bitches and these fucking dogs are, man. Honestly. Whatever, I'll tell you, whatever fucking karma brings to these fucking sluts is fucking
Like what? Like why is he so angry? Like what did women do to him? Like not want to fuck him? Like that's not their fault. Like what is he on about? Like, ooh, sorry you're not fuckable. Like I don't know, maybe like be a better person and people might want to like sleep with you. Like maybe change your views of the world and then you won't be as lonely. Like I don't know,
fucking too
man.
good for them. Now,
I don't want to have weak with some. I don't want to have sex with some tiny, desperate, weak, pathetic twink. Oh wait, yes I do, Lamau. Real.
as I said, man, I'm not a woman hater. I sound like I'm a woman hater, but I'm not. I actually
He's not a woman hater. He just thinks that most women are subhuman and disgusting. Yeah. Not a woman hater.
happen to know a very small selection of decent women, but fucking most women out there, man, are fucking garbage.
Because they don't want to fuck him. Okay.
I'm not just saying that out of spitefulness, man. I don't
Yes, you are. Then why the fuck else would you be saying
live
it?
in fucking anger. I don't live in spitefulness.
Yeah, that's why you're making these videos, because you're not angry.
I'm just documenting what's going on in the world, man, and
Documenting? What do you mean? You don't go outside. What do you mean what's going on in the world? You've even said in other videos that you don't have a job.
fucking speaking from life experience, man.
Life experience is crazy. What life experience do you have?
I'm just telling you what I've seen with my very own eyes.
What have you seen specifically?
There are
He's not a woman hater. He just hates conventionally attractive women who don't want to fuck him.
there are a
True.
lot of nasty women out there that, you know, will set you up.
How have they set you up? Give specific examples of women setting you up.
Set you up to get bashed and robbed for your money.
Like, what are you talking about? When has this happened to you?
You know, they'll lure you into their fucking house where there's a
Like, who is they? How often is this happening?
bunch of fucking guys that will bash you and over the head for your fucking wallet.
I mean, you're talking about what you perceive to be most women. Do you think that most women are doing that? Or do you think that maybe that's like a very, very small percentage? Like, I don't know, less than 0.01% of them.
I've seen it happen, man. It ain't pretty to watch, but I've fucking seen it.
Oh, dude, there was one single instance, and by he's seen it with his own 2 eyes. He saw like a Netflix true crime documentary about how there was like this one woman that would like lure guys in, and then like as soon as they arrive at the house, it's like, oh shit, they get fucking jumped by like a gang of like 5 men. Oh, dude, that's like very representative of all modern women.
It happen. Or she offers to be your best friend and pretends to date you, to move in with you.
When is this happening? What are you on about?
To get what she wants out of you, to get your fucking house. Next
Again, how often is this happening?
thing you know, you're out on the fucking street while while you're paying a fucking mortgage so that she can live in a house that you don't fucking live in while you're living in the fucking gutter.
Again, how often is this happening? What is the statistical likelihood of that happening?
Eating out of fucking wet bins, mate. Like, for once in your fucking goddamn lives, man, think with your fucking heads, man. Like, this is the thing. There are 2 types of people that I can't fucking... There are 4 types of fucking people.
Dude, there's 2. I mean 3. I mean 4 types of people that I can't stand.
Well, I can't fucking stand. Fucking...
Of course. It's like, dude, he forgets how many people he hates.
Gay people, fucking Jads.
Oh, gay people. What the fuck did gay people do to you, man?
Fucking voids and fucking simps, man. Like, those...
Dude, he did what? Like, what did gay people do to you? Oh, like at least with like Chads, it's like, oh, dude, they fucking stole my girl or whatever. Like, it's still stupid. It's like, okay, like, it's not their fault that they're more fuckable than you. Like, sorry, like, skill issue, get good. The gay people, like, what the fuck did gay people do? Like, hold on, if we're talking about gay men in particular, wouldn't it be the case that they'd be doing you a favor, like, from an incel perspective? Like, if you're gonna have this delusional worldview of, oh, dude, all of these, like, more attractive men are taking all the women. If the men are sleeping with each other instead of women, wouldn't that mean that there's more potential women for incels like you? Like, according to your own stupid worldview? Like, what the fuck? This doesn't even make any sense.
Those 4 fucking people, in my opinion, I can't fucking stand those motherfuckers, man. Like, I just can't believe how fucking dumb people are, man. Like, I may be an ugly...
As opposed to you, the absolute genius.
Fuck, and I may be, like, the most pathetic fucking loser you could ever fucking imagine.
Believe me, you are.
But at least I have enough fucking intelligence in my fucking head to really see most women for what they fucking are.
I'm sorry, what? You think that they're whores because they won't fuck you?
Gold digging pieces of shit, honestly. Like,
yeah. Gold digging pieces of shit? Like, what proportion of them? Like, is there any evidence? Like, again, only so many women could be gold diggers, right? Like, statistically? Because, like, there's only so many rich people that exist.
You know, and they don't even deserve anything. Like, you know, you've worked your ass off. You know,
you haven't worked your ass off. Like, did you even take a shower before recording this?
You worked harder than most fucking...
You haven't even shaved your neck beard, and you're going to talk about how hard you've worked.
People, just to get, like, ahead in life. And these fucking sluts...
You're not ahead in life. You haven't even shaved your own neck beard, and you're going to talk about how fucking hard you work. Like, no, that's a delusion.
Voids, you know, fucking don't even have to lift a fucking finger. They get everything they want because of fucking feminism, because of their stupid...
Because of feminism. Like, what is he on about?
Stupid pretty little fucking faces. You know, they go and then they use...
Not their fault that they're pretty and you're ugly, like...
Their fucking sexuality. Their fucking, you know, Freudism fucking, you know, persona, I'm a fucking woman, feministic garbage, to get what they fucking want out of people. I'm telling you...
Like, what are they doing to get what they want out of people? Like, what do they specifically want? Like, just because there's, like, nothing of value that you provide doesn't mean that they're, like, greedy or whatever. They just don't want to be with you because you have nothing to offer. You have no personality that's good or redeeming characteristics. You're not attractive. You're not intelligent. You're not likable. You have shitty opinions. You're not a good person. You offer nothing. You don't have a job. And it's like, you can't even be fucked to shave your neck beard. And it's like, I'm sorry. But it's like, if you can't even take the time to shave your neck beard, why would you expect a woman to give you the time to go on a date with you? Like, I'm sorry, but, like, what?
You mean, if you're a fucking woman, you can get away with murder. You could fucking kill...
No, you actually can't. You actually can't get away with murder any easier as a woman. That's like a crime. You can go to prison just as easily if you're a woman who commits murder than if you as if you're a man who commits murder.
Someone else's dog, man. And if you're pretty enough, man, if you're a fucking woman, you give them sex to forget all about it, you'll get away with it.
No, not if you're a murderer. That's not how it works.
Whereas if you're a fucking man, you spill a cup of coffee, you never hear the fucking end of it.
What? Like, what do you mean? Like, never hear the end of it? Like, whatever, people crack jokes. You know, people would do that to, like, a woman, too, right? Like, that's a... Like, is he talking from experience? Did he spill a cup of coffee and it's, like, people made jokes about it? And, like, he, like... I'm guessing he was, like, whatever, didn't want to confront them, so he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna, like, go along with it or whatever. But then, like, internally, he's fucking seething and he's, like, actually really hurt by them. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to get away with murder. I'm gonna be real.
You get a good old-fashioned public hanging just for spilling a cup of coffee. Like,
I don't think that this is happening. Like, worst case scenario, people make jokes about it.
I'm telling you, you know, this lie that is going around that, oh, men have more rights than women. Yes, that was the case.
It's still... I mean, I don't know. There's sexism that applies to both men and women, if I'm going to be real. So it's kind of difficult to say. Like, what do we mean when we say rights? Because a lot of the time, we're going to be talking about things that are social, rather than, like, whatever, like, oh, like, what about your, like, constitutional right to vote or whatever the fuck, right? So I guess it depends on what you mean by, like, what is or isn't a right. But I guess that's, like, I feel like that'd be a discussion too nuanced for somebody like this. Anyways, I need to pee again, so I'm going to let the video play, and then I'm going to be back, okay? All right. Be right back, chat.
50 fucking years ago. Absolutely. But then when feminism came into place, women had all the fucking rights in the world, man. Women were like, oh, I'm gonna, I'm a fucking woman. I'm a protected species. I'm just gonna, trample all over fucking good, hard-working men and treat them like fucking shit. I'm telling you right now, man, my fucking granddad built that fucking house with his bare hands out in Morwell, right? I love my granddad so much, like, I was devastated. On the day that he fucking died, man, when I was 7, back in 1999, I was devastated. But that disgusting, evil, diarrhea, AIDS, HIV, slut-infested piece of shit that I called an aunt, you know what she fucking did? This was his fucking daughter, right? And this was my grandmother's fucking daughter. Now, I can say whatever I want on YouTube, man, because I'm not using any names here, right? And I hate to, like, spill too much of my personal life on here, man, but I have to. I mean, society needs a wake-up call. Men in my situation need to be aware of fucking women and the dangers that come with being too gullible. My dad's sister, right? I'm not going to use her name, but she fooled us all, right? She fooled everybody. She pretended to be the nicest person ever, pretended to love me as a kid. I love you so much, Michael. I'll spoil you rotten with fucking toys and candy. You're my favourite nephew. Giving me all that fucking love. And then as soon as Grandma went, Grandma wanted her to be in charge of the house, sell the house, and spread the money to my dad and his 2 brothers, right? That's my grandmother's wishes. And I love my grandmother so much. I mean, my dad's parents, I still miss them to this day. I adore them like there's like nobody's business. But that evil, satanic, fucking demonic, dark energy.
All right, chat. I'm back. Sorry about the the small interruption, but we're back. I won't use names. Uses names, no, literally.
Disgusting fucking slut that I called an aunt. You know what she did? She kept all the money to herself.
Imagine hating women so much that you literally are talking about your own aunt and you call her a fucking slut.
She cut ties with all of us in 2009.
So, I guess your reasoning for why women are evil is because your aunt cut ties with you? Okay. Hey, thank you, Patel Crafter, for the $10. You beautiful fucking bastards. Saying, can we get a little head shake and a purr? Yeah, why the hell not? Dude, it makes like a little noise. Anyways, let's continue.
2009, my dad had a really nasty accident that nearly killed him.
I swear I'll never get tired of the head shake. Yeah, most of the time when I do it, it's by accident. I don't even do it on purpose.
Luckily, he was still alive. And in that same fucking year, our house got burgled, right? And that was the last I ever heard from my fucking aunt. I haven't heard from her for now 16 years. Oh, God knows if she's even still alive, man. She's ripped off that many fucking people,
Wait, what did she do to rip people off? I'm lost. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention.
Ruined so many fucking men's lives.
How did she ruin their
It was a
lives?
scam that she was
So like what, was she like a scammer? Okay, so your aunt was a scammer, therefore women bad.
going around, right? Doing. There was a scam going around. What she would do is she would sell beauty products that were expired. She would. If you guys ever know.
So because your aunt sold expired beauty products, women bad. Like, what an insane conclusion to come to. Also, if you're saying that, oh yeah, dude, women are out to get men, they're out to fuck over men. Like, wouldn't she be like fucking over women?
If you guys know what catfishing is, she was a professional catfish. She would pretend.
So because there was one woman that was a catfish, which was your aunt, therefore women bad. Like, again, none of these conclusions that he comes to logically follow. Oh yeah, dude, my aunt was a bad person, therefore 90% of women are bad people.
Be really, really nice. She had about 900 men on her contact list. She'd be really, really nice to all of her victims. Pretend to be their girlfriend, targeting vulnerable, lonely men.
Yeah, that's a single person though. That's not 90% of women. Like, Jesus Christ.
Just to get money out of them. In fact, I actually had a couple of her boyfriends or her fake victims, I should say, contact me back in 2000. I had one contact me. I had one in 2015, and another one actually came to Australia thinking she was going to be there when she never came, and he rang up my mother's work to try. How the fuck he got that number, I have no fucking idea.
Again, this is be wary of single women. And it's like, oh yeah, dude, here's a single woman. I guess the title doesn't lie. Be wary of this single woman. I mean, if that's the case, if it's not a grammar mistake and it's just, yeah, just be wary of my fucking aunt, I guess. Then, okay, fair enough. But that's not what he actually means.
Remains a mystery to this day, but, you know,
Mystery.
she has ripped off so many fucking people.
Therefore, women bad, yep.
And this is what I'm talking about in terms of being a fucking woman. Like,
yeah, dude, I'm sure that her ripping people off has everything to do with her being a woman. I'm sure if she was a man, she wouldn't do it, you know?
if you're a woman,
If you're a woman, then you must rip people off like my aunt.
you can get away with anything.
Yeah, dude, there's never any male scammers. There aren't male scammers that rip people off. No, that's not possible. But male scammers, what even is that? The entire industry is just women.
You know what?
Like, I don't think he realizes how fucking insane he sounds. Hello, Hayes.
Because women, you know, are like fucking poisonous cherries, man. Beautiful on the outside, but poisonous on the inside. Now, I'm not a
Like, does he think that this is representative of all women?
Christian personally, right? I gave up on Christianity, but in the Bible,
Rare W?
it says the devil comes in colours. And
I don't believe in Christianity, but here's what the Bible says. What?
if anyone is the devil, man, call me crazy, but it's fucking women.
No, you're fucking crazy. I'm sorry.
Because they appear beautiful on the outside. They appear friendly. But you got to have a really honest conversation with yourself, man. You got to face reality.
Yeah, you have to have an honest conversation with yourself where you convince yourself that women are bad.
Right. Why, if you're an ugly sub-5 piece of shit, and you're, like, deformed in the fucking face, and you're...
Again, he's just describing himself. He just hates himself. Like, that's not women's fault. Women aren't to blame for that. Women didn't make you disgusting and weird. Like,
Maybe you got fucking Down syndrome. Maybe you're severely autistic and you're just a total fuck up as a person. No offense. Why would...
It's like, dude, I'm sorry, but like, what? I'm autistic. I have no issue getting bitches, okay?
Anyone. Why would any woman in her fucking right mind want anything to do with you? When you've got, like, no fucking sex appeal to you at all. When you've...
Yeah, you have no sex appeal and you have no personality. So yeah, you're right. No one's gonna want to fuck you. So maybe you, I don't know, change the whole not having a good personality thing. Like, that's within your control. Like, I'm not gonna claim, like, oh yeah, dude, like, why don't you get, like, fucking plastic surgery or some shit to, like, make your face look better or whatever the hell, right? Because A, plastic surgery doesn't always make you look better, and B, it's, like, whatever, expensive, right? But there are things you can do. You can fucking shave your beard, right? You don't have to have a neck beard. Nobody is making you keep the neck beard, okay? You can fix your personality. You can be a decent person. You can not be somebody that goes around talking about how he's a fucking incel who hates 90% of women. Like, if any woman sees a dude being like, yeah, dude, I hate 90% of women, like, that's an immediate turnoff. That's like a huge red flag. Like, yeah, of course nobody's gonna want to fuck you. Like, you're a resentful piece of shit.
You've got, like, nothing to give a fucking woman. Why would anyone You know, why would any woman fucking want anything to do with you?
Well, yeah, if you can't get anything out of dating you, right? There's nothing to be gained, right? There's no emotional needs that are met. There's no physical needs that are met. If you're not meeting anybody's needs or wants, then yeah, like, why would somebody date you? But that goes in both directions, right? Like, that's not just like a woman and her experience with men. That goes both ways, right? Like, if there's like a woman that doesn't meet any of your needs or wants, then like, yeah, you're probably not gonna want to date her. Like, this guy is even gone in other videos talking about how he wouldn't date a 1 out of 10. He wouldn't date like a 400-pound woman or whatever, because whatever, she's too ugly and he's not attracted to that. It's like, okay, well, that's fine, but like, do you think maybe the reason is because, you know, she doesn't meet any of your needs or wants? In which case, why would you apply a different standard to women? If you don't meet their needs or wants and they don't want to be with you, why would you hold that against them when you do the same shit in the other position?
It can only be for one thing, man. So she can suck you dry, take you for everything you got.
It's like, how many women are doing
Unless
this?
you're fucking Chad, or you're gay, or you're a woman, or...
Unless you're Chad, gay, or a woman. Like, nobody, like, no normal person thinks like this.
You're a gullible, naive fucker that's going to give her all your money. Unless you're one of those fucking 4 people, man, you mean fuck all to women.
That's not true, though. Like, because, I mean, I'm not any of those 4, and I've had no problem with getting women. Even pre-transition, I had no issue with it, so... It's like he's talking out of his ass.
You don't mean jack shit to women, man. And if I were you, I would cut the friendship off with that woman as soon as you fucking can.
Just don't even be friends with the woman, okay?
Because you're gonna get fucked over, man. Honestly.
How many love scams is he fallen for? Well, 0, because he has no bitches. Like, he's still a virgin. He's 32 and he's a virgin. I don't think he's even had a relationship before.
You know, I've taken the black pill, man, and when you take the black pill, you see everything, you know? And
oh, he sees everything. Not just, like, the things that fit into his confirmation bias that give him excuses for why he can't get bitches.
I see the fucking truth, man. I see women for the disgusting people.
No, that's not the truth. That's just you coming up with excuses for why you can't get bitches. That's like a you problem, though. That's a skill issue on your
This
end.
is shit they really are. Not all women, but 90% of women, man.
Like 90% is crazy. That's still 45% of the human population. Like, you hate 45% of the human population. Like, that's crazy. That's not normal.
I know I sound like I'm a woman hater.
Yeah, because you are one.
In these videos.
If it quacks like a duck, if it looks like a duck, if it sounds like a duck, if it acts like a duck, then it probably is a duck.
I'm not. I don't hate women.
No, you don't hate women. You just have all of the characteristics and beliefs of people that hate women.
Like, if I see a pretty girl in the street, I'm not going to hate her because I don't know her from a bar of soap.
Well, yeah, you don't know for certain yet whether or not she wants to sleep with you. But as soon as she rejects you, as soon as, whatever, she doesn't reciprocate your advances or whatever the hell, but she's like polite about it or whatever, then you have a problem.
But I'm just saying, man, that I've been around a long time, man, 32 fucking years, and I've seen
32 years of you not actually addressing any of the root issues. It's not that you're 5'9", like you've said. It's not that you're short. Okay, I'm 5'6", again, pre-transition, had no problem being asked out by women. That wasn't like some Giga Chad.
a lot of how modern day society is.
Who's the cameraman? Oh, there's like a little gnome on my desk. He just like moves the camera around. See? He follows me around. It's the little gnome.
And you got to stop fooling yourself into thinking
The bells, haha, cute.
that you're going to get a fucking girlfriend.
But I have one, so like you're just wrong. What do you mean?
Asperger's people don't live happily ever after, man.
Okay, but like, I literally have autism, and I have a girlfriend, and she's really fucking pretty. Like,
I'm sorry, but it's fucking over for you.
Yes, Keemstar is behind the camera. Yes, I hired Keem.
You know, you got a choice, man. You can listen to what I don't know what to say, man. Like, yeah, you can listen to what I have to fucking say.
Why would I listen to what you have to say when, like, I've already done the opposite of taking your advice, and I'm successful now in terms of relationship stuff? Like,
Get your stupid little heart broken. Or, sorry, you can not listen to what I have to say, and get your stupid...
I mean, heartbreak is a genuine risk if you date anybody, but that's not like, you being used. Like, that goes in both directions. Like, women have their hearts broken all the time. Like, that is a risk of dating, right? Like, that's just how the world works. That's not like a malicious thing. That's just something that happens. Sometimes relationships don't work, and that's okay. That's a risk, though.
Stupid little heartbroken. Or you can listen to what I have to say and fucking save yourself the heartbreak and trouble. Like, you know...
No, I'd rather not listen to what you have to say, because clearly, whatever the fuck you're doing doesn't work.
This is what I mean about
Like, why would anybody listen to you of all people? You're the one that has zero success. You're the one that doesn't have any bitches, okay? Like, what the fuck do you mean? Listen to what I have to say. Like, no, I don't want to be like you. I don't want to live in your position.
fucking self-entitled women. Like...
But how are women the one that are... I don't understand. He thinks women are the ones that are self-entitled. It doesn't make any sense.
Why? Honestly, just because you got a fucking vagina and a pretty face, and why should you be a fucking protected species?
Bro, what? I don't know, maybe because creepy men like you might prey on them. Maybe that's why they're protected. I don't know.
Why should you get anything from fucking men if you haven't fucking earned it? This is what I hate about fucking women, man. Self-entitlement.
Okay, but they're not the ones that are self-entitled. Like, they don't expect you to give them anything. That, like, what are you talking about? Like, what do women feel entitled to that they're not? Like, fucking explain.
Like, I've worked my ass off, and I barely have jack shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, but didn't you say that you didn't have a job? That, like, you haven't shaved your neck beard? You haven't done anything to actually change your personality? To maybe have better luck with women? But it's women's fault? Like, I
work my ass off for fucking breadcrumbs. Women get a free ride, man. They get it.
No, we don't.
They get all the fucking glory and everything that goes with it. Like I said, as Destroyed by Void said, you know, you women have no idea the power of your fucking sexuality.
Bro, what? But most people don't want to use like the people being sexually attracted to them as like a mechanism through which they get rich or whatever. Like, if they do, then fine, like, cool, good for them, as long as both parties are consenting. Usually somebody like that will make an OnlyFans, which there's nothing wrong with. But not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody enjoys that.
Like, the times that we're living in now, before we had feminism...
Yeah, he does talk about women like they're dogs, like they're property, right? Like, he doesn't see them as people.
When women were victims, and when women had no rights, and they were...
Do you think that women aren't still victims? Like, do you think that men don't victimize women? Like, why do you think that women are scared to go outside by themselves, like in the middle of the night, but not men? What do you think is the causing factor? Like, what factors do you think are at play that would cause that to be the case? Do you think it's like an irrational fear? Or do you think maybe, I don't know, women are more likely to be targeted in like a dark alleyway or some shit, right? Like,
I put in the fucking kitchen, man. We're actually worse off now than where we were back then.
No, we're actually not. Women having rights is a good thing.
Because now men are the
He thinks it's better if women don't have rights.
ones that have no fucking rights.
That's not true. You do have rights. Like, what rights don't you have? What rights do women have that men don't?
And before you fucking tell me otherwise, open your fucking eyes, sweetheart.
Okay, my eyes are open.
Open your fucking eyes and
Yup, they're already open.
realize that society puts nowhere near the amount of fucking pressure on women as it does men.
Okay, how does it not put pressure on women, but it puts pressure on men? Like, what?
Like, if you're...
Do you think that women aren't pressured into anything? Like, they're just like... It's only men that get pressured? Like, I'm sorry, what?
You're not 6'2", if you're not fucking Chad, if you're not, like, a good-looking guy...
You mean like they have, like, different standards? Like, there are different beauty standards for women? Sure, I could get behind that. Like, there's different beauty standards, but there's still pressure. And there's also a lot of pressure to conform to that. Like, anyone with any amount of common sense knows this. Like, just because it's, like, whatever, technically different standards. It's like... And you could make the same argument in the opposite direction, right? You could argue, oh, well, at least if you're a guy, like, if you just get, like, jacked or whatever, and have a decent personality, you know, most women don't really care that much about looks, right? It's, like, more about personality, whereas guys are on average, more shallow or whatever the hell, right? They're going to be going exclusively for looks, and it's like, what do you want me to do as a woman? Like, just, like, starve myself, but then, like, somehow have massive tits, and, like, also, like, my face structure magically changes? Like, no, like, that's fucking insane, right? So it's like, you can make this, like this goes in both directions, right? There's not like, but it's ignorant and stupid to claim that it only goes in one direction, or that there's only pressure on men or only pressure on women. There's pressure on both, right?
Well, I mean, if you don't
like, it's absurd to downplay
have
that.
like good social skills, You're not neurotypical. You don't have like the brains and the intellect to
Okay, but you not being neurotypical has nothing to do with your ability to get bitches. I'm also not neurotypical. I'm autistic. I had, in elementary school, I literally had an aide for like half of it. From kindergarten to second grade, I literally had an aide because I was fucking special needs, right? It was only in third grade that I stopped having an aide, right? And I still had a lot of fucking issues. I literally had to go to a private school because my behavior was so bad and my freakouts were so bad that I wasn't even able to be in a public school, right? So for him to use special needs as this sort of crutch is fucking absurd. Like, that's insane. Your special needs don't make you unfuckable, okay? I know all about growing up with special needs and having autism and having all these issues, but the difference is that I actually did something to improve myself. I actually wanted to get better. That's the difference. If I never wanted to get better, I would still be having the same kinds of freakouts that I had when I was younger. But from a young age, I wanted to get better. That was my mindset. Even though the world is unfair, even though I was treated like shit, even though I was literally treated like I wasn't even fucking human. Like the adults would talk down to me as if I was like beneath them. As if I wasn't even a person with my own thoughts, feelings, etc. Right? And I still wanted to get better. And I still wanted to make the best of it. Right? And it sucked. But at least I was doing something. So no, you being autistic is not the reason that you get no bitches. Because believe me, I know all about having special needs. That's like an important facet of my childhood. And I've never had this issue.
You're not going to fucking make it in this world, man.
Then why have I made it?
Strongly believe that some men in this fucking world actually don't make it.
Okay, well, I mean, I made it even pre-transition. Like, I got your ultimate goal at the age of 17, getting laid. Like, okay. I don't know why you think that autistic short men can't get laid. Like, that was pre-transition, so. I was highly suicidal and very volatile and violent as a child. Yeah, me
I
too.
believe that. Like, this isn't the movies, man. This isn't Hollywood.
You're right, it's not. It's real life. In real life, I got bitches while being autistic.
We don't live in Shoodland. Like, if we lived in Shoodland, every single person would go all the way to year 12, graduate school, get a job. You know, everything would be perfect, right? There'd be no wars or anything. We don't live in that world, man. We live in reality land.
Okay, well, in reality, you can be autistic and still get a girlfriend. Like, that's not out there. Like, he's just trying to find anything that he can blame other than himself. It's like he wants to blame every single variable that's outside of his control, but not him being a bad person, not his personality, not anything that he's in control of, because then that would require him to actually improve as a person. No, he's got to blame everything that he doesn't have control over. I can't control that I have autism, but I can control, to some extent, how I engage, right? How I engage with society, my surroundings, etc., right? Like, it took me a lot of learning self-control to not, have fucking random-ass freakouts due to whether it be due to sensory overload or whatever. Like, that's something that I had to learn a lot of self-control for, right? But that's something that was within my control. I went out of my way to mitigate that as much as possible. So autism isn't a shield for you to use. You don't get to fucking use the same fucking disability that I have, that I grew up with, that I fucking had to deal with. The shit that fucking, in part, ruined my entire childhood. You don't get to just use that as an excuse. Oh, well, that, it's because of my autism and society and women. It's not because I'm a fucking shit person. It's like, no, you are a shit person. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. All of the variables that you explain as why you can't get laid or whatever would equally apply to me, just by default. Yet here I am. So, what's your excuse?
Where if you're not up there on a certain rank, man, if you're not, like I said, Stacey's and Chad's at the top, Normie's in the middle, Incel.
What's funny is that all of the you know, characteristics like being short and autistic that he's like, you know, those are two big ones that he describes. Now, I wasn't conventionally attractive either. So, according to his standards, I should have never have gotten laid or anything, but I did. So, the main difference, of course, being maybe my worldview. I never ranked myself as like, oh yeah, dude, I'm like the 4 out of 10 and you've got the Giga Chads. I never thought of the world this way. So maybe it has less to do with whether or not you're autistic or 5'6". I mean, he's talking about how he's 5'9", and that's one of the reasons he can't get laid. No, it's not. That's a fucking, like, that's a lie. That's fucking bullshit. That has nothing to do with it.
At the bottom. If you're at the fucking bottom, man, you get the fucking bottom. That's all I can say. Anyway, thanks.
It's like, I'm glad I never thought like this guy. Because if I did, I probably wouldn't have gotten
for watching.
laid.
You have a nice day. Bye.
So it's like, I don't know. Anyways.
What's going on, guys? It's the truth.
I didn't mean to replay that. Fucking hell. So it's like, dude, I'm sorry, but like, it's like, dude, nobody thinks of the world through this type of hierarchy. Like, that's insane. Okay, that's interesting. So we have 27 concurrents. Now it's 48 seconds average view duration. That's interesting. So that's gone up. Interesting. Okay, that's really fascinating. Growing up autistic around adults who don't understand sensory issues is the worst. I remember getting a detention once for throwing up due to sensory overload. That's really fucked up. Like, you can't control whether or not you throw up. Like, that's literally outside of your control. But yeah, like, well, I used to, like, whatever, like, hit the teachers and shit, and, like, I would, like, have, like, the worst freakouts. And, like, I would refuse to do work because it was, like, okay, like, even back then I was, like, okay, like, whatever, kindergartner, but I was, like, okay, like, what's the fucking point of this? It's, like, I don't know, I have a distinct memory of, like, they would have, like, whatever, those, like, little, like, worksheets or whatever, where it'd be, like, 10 addition problems. It'd be, like, 8 plus 1, 8 plus 2, 8 plus 3, etc., right? They go all the way up to 8 plus 12 or whatever, I think. And yeah, that was all hunky-dory. That was all fine, okay? But then they'd have 9 more rows of the same problems, the same 10 or 12 problems, but reordered. So I would do the first 10, and I'd be like, okay, I'm done. They'd be like, no, you still have 90 more problems. And I'd be like, but I already did them. It's like, well, you want me? It's like, bitch, I already did 8 plus 5. Like, what the fuck do you mean I haven't done it? Like, if you're so confused as to what 8 plus 5 is by looking at this worksheet, then why the fuck don't you just look at the answer at the top? My dad was a complier, get whooped kind of dude. Yeah, my dad was always like, whatever. Oh, yeah, you have to respect authority, like, never question authority. If somebody is an authority figure, they're always right. And I'm like, well, that's not a logical explanation. Like, I always needed a logical explanation. Like, because I said so, never cut it. But it's like, I don't know, maybe the adults around me thought I was too stupid to understand a logical explanation or something. I don't know. Word problems made me devolve into insanity. I just thought word problems were like, I don't know, a waste of time. Because it was like, it would always be like the most like absurd shit imaginable. Like, not like, oh, here's like something that you'd actually use in the real world. It's like, oh yeah, dude, Marcus is going to the store to buy 47 watermelons. It's like, no, he fucking isn't. They probably don't even have 47 watermelons. Like, what the fuck do you mean he's going to buy 47 watermelons? Like, bullshit. This isn't useful. I don't know. And he had 872 apples. Like, no, fucking bullshit. No, he didn't. Currently dealing with exponents. I'm cooked. For me, exponents weren't that bad, nor were logarithmic functions. It took me like a minute to learn, and then once I got the hang of it, it wasn't really that bad. You just kind of have to, like, memorize, like, the different, like, rules and stuff, I guess. While being a parent, you were advanced. Kids don't have that awareness yet. They will count on their fingers for the whole worksheet. I didn't have to do that, though. Like, maybe if I was, like, I don't know, like, not completely certain. Like, maybe in, like, the beginning I might have done that, but, like, I don't know, like, it was, like, I might, like, think of it that way in my head, but it was, like, whatever. I don't know. But it's like it was seen as a bad thing. It was like bad that I viewed the world that way and that I wouldn't just like comply and be a cog in the machine and mindlessly do stuff. It was like that was frowned upon growing up, which was weird. I think you're in your own world, Femi. I do that a lot. And a lot of people get mad because to them it's rude. Well, that's their problem if they think it's rude, in my opinion. Like, Like if what I ask questions, like that's not rude. That's like me wanting to have more information. Algebra was fun, IMO. I liked algebra. It was easy. It was pretty easy in my opinion. Zeppo does all my math real. I have dyscalculia and don't do math real. Why does he need 47 watermelons? I don't fucking know. He doesn't really. I mean, anyways, I appreciate algebra a lot now, but at the time, that shit was miserable. Yeah, I don't know. The thing I liked about algebra is you could fucking logic your way through it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the time you didn't really have to memorize as much. There were some things where it's like, oh, okay, like you have to like memorize this and it's like, oh, this is fucking stupid. But I always liked that you could just sort of logic your way through it for the most part. That was what I liked. But I hated things like, I don't know. Like I remember taking pre-calc and it was like a really good advanced class and you actually learned some calculus. It was like, I don't know, like I think it was like accelerated pre-calc or some shit like that, where it was like, there was also like, just like calculus for like half of it. I don't remember. It was like half the class was pre-calc, half of it was like actual calculus, but it was like such a shit class. I think I took it during COVID and it was like, no, I didn't like calculus, but maybe my teacher was dog shit and it was during COVID and whatever. And the way he taught sucked. There was some stuff that I found interesting or like intuitive, like I specifically remember like there are a few things that I remember being like intuitive, like I don't know, like the idea that like okay, like if you, I don't know, like what was it, like fuck, I'm trying to think of an example. I remember, I specifically remember I used to like argue with my dad over whether or not 0.999 repeating forever was equal to 1. And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously, like intuitively, it must be the case, right? So if it's the case that the 9s are repeating forever, right, then there's going to be like no room for like a 0.00 ... 1, right? So if the difference is infinitesimally small, then it is therefore non-existent, right? Like what is the difference? Like if you subtract 0.99 repeating forever from 1, then like it's not going to be logically possible for there to be a difference, right? So if there's no difference, then it's literally the same. And then I also made like a proof, right? So I'm like, okay, so if it's the case that like we all agree that 1 divided by 3 is 1/3, which is also 0.33 repeating forever, right? And if you multiply 0.33 repeating forever by 3, then you would logically have to get 1. And you also get 0.99 repeating forever, right? So logically speaking, they have to be the same. It is logically impossible for 1/3 to be equal to 0.33 repeating forever, but for 0.99 repeating forever to not be equal to 1, right? So there were things like that where it was like very intuitive. Or for example, there would be like, what was it? Like, anything divided by 0 is infinity, right? Because you're like something like that is like kind of intuitive, right? Because there's like infinite possibilities there. If you divide by 0, it's undefined, right? Because like anything times 0 is 0, right? So it could be any number, right? Like it doesn't matter what number it is, right? So it could be like, so if you do like 1 times 0, you get 0. If you get 2 times 0, you get 0, right? 0 times 0, you get 0, right? So if you do 0 divided by 0, right? It's like, okay, well, what times 0 gets to 0? Well, it could be 0, it could be 1, 2, 500 billion, right? It doesn't really matter. So that's why that's undefined, right? Like there's not like a one fixed value that would get to that conclusion, right? Like there's stuff like that where it's like very intuitive to me. It's not infinite, it's non-existent. Well, we're talking about something more abstract. It was or sorry, I think I meant to say if you divide a number by infinity, you get 0. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, because you're dividing it infinitely. That's my bad. I misspoke, I think. Sorry, I'm fucking retarded. It's been a while. Sorry. I knew something sounded wrong. Okay. Now, if you divide a number by infinity, you get 0, right? Because you're dividing it infinitely. So any fraction of that is going to be infinitely small, right? Right? So, and then vice versa, right? If you divide it by 0, you you get undefined, right? Because you have like infinite possibilities, right? So the inverse must necessarily be true. It'd be 0 point something. No, it wouldn't be point anything, right? It'd be 0.00 repeating forever, right? Because and because it's repeating forever, there wouldn't be room for a difference, right? So it would just be 0, right? Because you're dividing it infinitely, so there's like never an end to it, right? So if you divide by infinity, you end up with infinitely small fractions, right? That make up the value, right? So that it would be 0, right? I don't understand any of what you're talking about. Fair. 0 repeating. Well, I'm saying like well, the reason I said that is because you're talking about like how it would be 0 point something. That's what somebody said, but it logically couldn't be, right? So if it's the case that there's like some like if you're talking about like a like the difference or whatever, right? If somebody's like, well, it's 0.00 something, right? Well, if the zeros go infinitely, then there's no something, right? There's just nothing. It's infinitesimally small, right? Hi, Femi, sorry I'm late. No worries. No worries. I meant 0.00000. Yeah. Well, the zeros go infinitely, right? So it's just 0, right? That's what it ultimately amounts to. It would be redundant to put all those zeros, right? But the implication with it'd be 0 point something is that there's eventually like a 1, right? But there's not. It could be 0.000008. No, it logically couldn't be, right? Because then you wouldn't have divided it infinitely, right? If you divide a number infinitely, then it logically cannot be that, right? I love the fit. Why, thank you. If you cut something infinite times without it being 0, what would it be? Well, it couldn't be anything, right? It logically only can be 0. But if it's any quantity, it couldn't be nothing. Well, no, there is no quantity, right? If you divide something, so say for instance, you divide a number by, so let's say you do 1 divided by 3, okay? You would agree that 1 divided by 3 is a larger number than 1 divided by 30. Okay, what about 1 divided by 300? That's even smaller, right? Well, if you go infinitely small, what single number is infinitely small? Well, that would be 0, right? That is the only number that is infinitely small, correct? So if it's the case that you divide a number by infinity, then you must necessarily get 0, right? That's the only number that's infinitely small, right? Because you've divided it infinitely, right? Now, in terms of what you could actually do, like there's like no specific number on the number line that gets you to infinity, right? So anytime you divide something, like no matter how big the number is, right? You would approach infinity, but you wouldn't get to it necessarily, right? Unless you were to implicate infinity in of itself as the value, right? But unless that's the case, you would be approaching it, right? So you'd get a number closer and closer and closer to 0. The larger the number in the denominator is, right? Now, if it's infinity, right, the largest number in the that could possibly exist, right? I guess it's not a number, but the largest thing you could that could be there, right? Then logically speaking, the inverse must be true, right? So it must logically be the smallest number is the value you get, right? Anyways, term mathematicians use is arbitrarily large number. We talking about numbers, I guess. I don't know how this turned into a math conversation. I'm not particularly good at math. There's just like some shit that's like intuitive to me. But like I'm not like somebody that's like good at like memorizing a bunch of shit. It's just like there's some stuff where it's like, I don't know, it's just logical. But that's like some of like the very basic stuff. 0 isn't infinitely small, it's nothing. Okay, so what value is infinitely small if not nothing, right? Because if you have something, even if it's a very small value, then it's not infinitely small, right? You could say it's very small, right? Or absurdly small, but it wouldn't be infinitely small, right? Now, realistically, like in the real world, you wouldn't be able to divide something by infinity, right? There isn't really infinity of anything that you could divide by, but like in a like theoretically, if you were to divide by infinity, you would get 0 as the result, right? Yeah, theoretical math and practical math are different, right? Like there's no practical application of dividing by infinity, right? But there is a logical application, right? Number's gonna be infinitely small or big. Okay, what's an infinitely small number that's not 0? What's an infinitely small number that's not 0? List one. I fuck it. Just any infinitely small number that isn't 0. Please tell me. I need to know that you are making a mathematical discovery that nobody else has. Dividing something by infinity makes it everything? No. No, it wouldn't, right? Because the larger the denominator is, the smaller the output is. So if you divide 1 by x, right? The larger the x is, the smaller the denominator is, right? So if x is infinity, then you would have the smallest possible output, right? Which would be 0. Right? Concept of nothing is philosophically very odd. By defining it, you kind of lose the definition necessarily. No, because you could still implicate nothingness as like a theoretical abstract concept, right? You can't like tangibly have nothing, like you can't like physically hold nothing, right? Like even if I like hold my hand out and it's like, oh, there's nothing in my hand. Well, it's like, okay, but like I'm not in the vacuum of space. There's like fucking there's like there's like air on my hand, right? I'm holding the air, right? Now, it's not very heavy, right? But you don't really think of it that way. But I'm not literally holding nothing, right? Right? Like it'd be literally impossible, right? For like because like in order for me to like you can't hold nothing. You can't literally hold nothing. You'd have to be in a vacuum. That's not possible, right? Because even space in of itself would be something, right? So there'd have to be no physical space even, right? You'd have to be in a vacuum with no physical space for you to literally hold nothing, right? We can't truly conceptualize infinity or nothing, no, but we can logically conceptualize it, right? To be infinitely small still shows that there is something to be there to be counted. Okay, so what is a non-zero quantity that is infinitely small? What is a non-zero quantity infinitely small? If you divide something an infinite number of times, that would mean you divide it the largest number of amount of times that could possibly divided, meaning 0, nothing. Yeah, you end up with nothing, right? And the reason why that fucks with people is because at the end of the day, you can't actually divide by infinity, right? In the real world, there's no, you don't fucking, oh, dude, Marcus got 47 watermelons at Home Depot, and then he divided it by infinity. Like he cut it into infinitely many slices. How many slices of watermelon are there? Well, you at that point you're dividing it into the fucking subatomic particles. So 0, right? You have 0. I guess that would be the best analogy I could come up with for an application, right? Like if you divide if you cut a watermelon into so many different slices that you end up cutting it into its subatomic particles, right? You have 0 slices of watermelon, right? Now, obviously, in terms of that, the cutoff point would be like, okay, well, how can you like how much can you cut this up? Okay, atoms, subatomic particles, right? So that'd be the cutoff point. So it'd be obviously not infinite, right? But the logical conclusion to that is mathematically, if you were to cut something infinitely many times, then you would end up with nothing, right? Now, obviously, what we define as a watermelon slice is not going to be like, okay, well, that subatomic particle is the watermelon slice, right? You wouldn't have to divide it that much. Like, you just end up with like a molecule and it's not really a slice anymore. But like, you get to a certain point, you reach a certain threshold where it's not even a slice of watermelon anymore, right? Just because of how many times you've cut it up. But that's neither here nor there. Like, an infinitely small number is called an infinitesimal. Okay, is there like a distinction between that and 0? Because like, what would the quantity be? Like, what would the what quantity would it have, right? You can't multiply something to nothing. Well, you can't really. Well, that's like saying that like in actuality you could divide by infinity, right? Like that's not something that like has like a real world application. What if the watermelon was D's nuts? That's so true. Dude, I don't know why we're having this discussion. That's not what this... Dude, no wonder why our channel is dead. We're talking about shit like this. concept is actually one of the fundamentals of calculus. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just had a shit calculus class / teacher back in the day. There's no number less than 0. 0 is nothing. If that's true. I mean, like, in terms of, like, the magnitude of the number, right? You know what I mean, right? Like, I'm not talking about, like, obviously, negative infinity is the... I meant in terms of, like, the smallest magnitude of a number, right? Right? So you wouldn't argue that, like, if we're talking about the largeness or the magnitude, you wouldn't argue that negative infinity, must necessarily be, like, the, like an it's not like an infinitesimally small number, right? Like, you wouldn't argue that, right? Time for a rebrand? No, I'm not a math person. I oppose calculus. Yeah. But when I say like the smallest possible number, I'm talking about like the magnitude, right? Like how significant is the number, I guess you could say, right? Not like how like I don't know what you said, but okay. Yeah. So like when I'm talking about like let's just move on from this. This is like difficult to explain. I'm not a math teacher. I'm not rebranding into a math channel, all right? Don't worry. All right? Don't worry, chat. I'm not going to rebrand into a math channel, all right? I'm too stupid for that. All right? I don't know how to do math. I ain't reading all that, but I'm happy for you, or I'm sorry that happened. Real. You could be? No, I'm not. No, I could not be. I'm not that good at math. I am telling you. Second channel, I'm not making a math channel. I've actually considered that, but I'm not like, it's like I don't think there's anything like I could offer that like hasn't already been offered by people that are infinitely smarter than me and like whatever. Like nothing I'm saying is like groundbreaking or things that like whatever people that are better at explaining math than me haven't done, right? Meth, yeah, no, meth is where it's at. Yes, I already read that, Albert. Femi room tour? Fair enough. I mean, I don't know. You could be right. I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm logically missing. I'm open to that possibility, but I don't know. Anyways, sorry. We have 29 concurrents. We're hard stuck at tipster numbers right now because we went on a whole tangent about math. There's no way any new viewer is going to stick around for that. We're talking about the actuality of something. For a number to be negative, you would need the base point to distinguish negatives from positives, but negatives are still something. Think about it like literally nothing. Yeah, exactly. Right? Like the like negative 1,000,000 isn't closer to nothing than negative 100, right? Like that's something just like in the opposite direction, right? I think the line put it pretty well. If it was astronomy, I'd pop in here. Dude, I haven't even thought about astronomy in ages. I don't know. Sometimes I'm scientifically minded. Sometimes I'm not. I can't force it, though. Like, most of the time, I'm not thinking about math. I mean, it's just like an occasional thing. I want to move away from the math discussion. I'm getting a little bit bored of that. Yeah, I kind of want to watch a video, okay? It's from the same incel guy, alright? Dude, I might actually have some points of agreement, okay? Because the video is called Religion is Cope, which, you know, I don't necessarily disagree, but let's see what his reasoning behind it is, alright? Maybe we actually agree for once. You know, I'm not just gonna look at all the things I disagree with him on. You know, maybe he makes some really compelling arguments. I haven't watched this. Who knows?
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the True Forced Incel here. I want to do a video talking about religion, man.
All right, let's go.
I've mentioned this a loads of times in my...
I mean, you've talked about how women are evil, demonic forces of nature, whatever the hell, which I believe is a religious point of view, but go on.
Videos, man, but
or is it the case that other people's perception of religion is cope, but not yours?
I seriously think religion is just cope. That's all it honestly is. Like, the amount of people that I see coming up to me, and they're like, oh, come to church, bro. You know, pray for fucking, you know, pray, you know. Put your heart in Jesus, he'll fucking help you. At the end of the day, I don't want to sound biased or prejudiced against anyone's religion. Whatever, man. Like, if...
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Seems like he doesn't have that far of a position from mine in terms of religion.
If that's your fucking thing, and that's what you use to fucking cope with, I respect that.
Okay, fair enough.
I respect everybody's religion. I respect you if you're Buddhist, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Catholic. I don't give a fuck, man.
Now, me personally, I'm a Pastafarian. I hope you respect that.
All right? I really want to honour where you're at.
Okay.
And please, with all due respect.
All right, you don't need to add this like fucking disclaimer. All right, just get to the point.
I respect your religion, okay? That's
Yes,
what
we
you
know.
choose to believe in.
Yep.
And I want to honour you for that.
Come on.
But you kind of need to respect my beliefs too, man.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, it depends on like what your beliefs are, right? Like your beliefs about women are not respectable. Your beliefs on religion, yeah, sure, believe whatever you want.
It works both ways.
Like as long as you don't believe anything harmful.
Like, I've never seen any evidence of Jesus.
He's got a great
that
mic.
He exists.
Okay, that is true. You know, he's actually making a decent argument for once. You know, like maybe not like anything groundbreaking, but it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. I don't disagree with that. Like, yeah, there is no evidence that Jesus was divine. There might be there might have been a guy named Jesus, but there's no evidence that Jesus existed when he was divine. I guess would be the main criticism I have.
Like, I've been going to church for 10 fucking years.
Okay.
And I tried the whole Christianity approach for 10 years, man, but I didn't feel anything.
I mean, that's fair.
I never felt the Holy Spirit. I've never had an encounter, or a divine encounter, as you people call it. I've never had that. And the thing is...
Well, and the thing is, you don't have to, like, prove a negative, right? Like, you don't have to prove that God doesn't exist to not believe in him, right? Like, it'd be like saying, oh, well, why don't you prove that there's no purple elephant in my backyard? Surely there is one if you can't prove it, right? And while you can't prove that there's no purple elephant in my backyard, there's no logical reason for you to believe that, right?
You know, I don't see why I should put my heart into something if I've never seen any evidence that he exists. Like, the thing that
Completely agreed. Wow, he's actually having a good take for once.
is when people are struggling in life, or even if they're not struggling, and they know that they're going to struggle, what they do is they believe in a make-believe magical man upstairs, you know, up in the clouds, that's
True.
going to fix all your fucking problems and make you a happier person.
Sometimes people believe that. Not everybody views religion that way, but that could be like some instances, right? So I guess the main issue I would have is he's using a very broad generalization as like a more of like an essentialist claim, right? Which I guess I would stray away from. Like that could be the case for some people, right? But it could also be the case that like they're not necessarily using it to cope. Like they might just like believe it because that's like what they were taught from a young age, or maybe it just like feels correct for them, but it's not necessarily a coping mechanism, right?
You know what I'm saying? And that's the fucking problem, is everyone's putting their faith into something that there's never been any evidence of, and and they're using that to make sense of the world around them. You know.
Yeah, I generally agree. Yeah.
And people use religion.
The issue, I guess, is that they start with a conclusion that has no evidence, and then they work backwards from there. I guess that would be my issue as well.
To make sense of the world around them, and to have a bit of faith that, you know, the big hairy man upstairs is going to fix your fucking problems.
Not everybody believes that, right? I mean, it really depends on like what form of religion or Christianity you believe in, right? So some people might believe that, but some people might also believe that on the basis of free will that like their God is like a non-interventionist, right? So it really depends, right? I guess the main issue I'm having here is he's overgeneralizing. He's painting with too broad of a brush, right? Which kind of lacks any and all necessary nuance.
You know what I'm saying? That's all religion is.
Not necessarily. I think it's more complex than that. I mean, I generally agree with like some of the stuff he's saying, but I think that he's I don't know, he's kind of avoiding some of the nuance that I accounted for.
And I see straight through it. Like, if
Okay.
I've never felt the Holy Spirit, yeah, there's a fucking reason. You know why? Because he doesn't fucking exist. It's not real. Like, it's...
I wouldn't say that that's specifically evidence of him not being real, right? Like, it could be the case that there's like a Holy Spirit that's real, but you haven't felt them, right? Like, that's entirely plausible. It's just not likely, right? Again, I think he's falling into the mistake of trying to even prove the negative position, right? But you don't have to do that. Like, the easiest argument you could make is that there's literally just zero evidence to suggest that there is some sort of God. And not only is there a God, but it's been accurately depicted by humans. And out of all of the religions that exist that are mutually exclusive, it just so happens to be yours that is the correct one, right? That's sort of the line of reasoning I go down.
It's just make-believe, man. Like, I always look at Christianity as an adult version of Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. Or even the...
I mean, yeah, I could sort of understand that position. I mean, I do specifically remember, like, when I stopped believing in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy when I was told that that was fake, right? Because, like, in my mind, it was, like, kind of intertwined with, like, all of, like, the religion stuff, because I was like, oh, okay, so, like, Santa Claus is, like, obviously, like, this, like, supernatural being, or whatever the hell, that's been granted powers by God and Jesus and whatnot. Like, that's how he's able to, whatever, give presents to everyone's house, or whatever. Like, he's able to visit everybody's house and go down the chimney, like... Obviously, like, the only way that somebody could defy the laws of physics is if they're, whatever, given divine powers, right? So they were, like, sort of intertwined, right? And I genuinely believed that. I seriously believed that, right? That was a strong conviction I held, right? So it's like, okay, so if I can have this strong of a belief about something like Santa Claus, and that's sort of intertwined in my worldview, like, what else in my worldview is incorrect, right?
The Easter Bunny. Like... You know, do you people still believe in the Easter Bunny? Nah, man. And fucking Jesus Christ is no different.
I think it's a little bit different, right? So it's going to be the case that, like, when you're taught that the Easter Bunny or Santa is real when you're, like, a child, the people that are teaching you that know it's not real, right? I think that the main distinction is oftentimes when you're religious or whatever, the people that are teaching you religion or the people that are preaching it also believe that religion is real. So I guess that's, like, the main distinction that I'd make.
You know what I'm saying? And people become so indoctrinated and so involved in the Christianity scene that I feel for them. I really, really fucking feel for them. All the Christians out there and the people that go to church, man, I fucking feel for you. Because the thing is, bro, like, you know, you're putting your heart into something and you're believing that something is going to fix your problems.
Again, not necessarily. I mean, I guess it depends on what denomination, but again, you're painting with too broad of a brush, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of Christians that don't believe that, right? They believe, like, okay, well, it's your responsibility to use your free will to maximize positive outcomes or whatever, right? And if God were to fix all of your problems, then that would fundamentally go against the entire concept / notion of free will, right? So that's sort of like the idea behind it, right? I'm not saying that it's even like a necessarily good argument in favor of Christianity, right? It doesn't mean that it's accurate or even internally consistent, but...
A little man called Jesus.
Curious if he's not religious, why does he have a problem with gay people? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe he's gay himself and he's just in the closet / in denial.
Who's a make-believe character. You know, you're having some hope that he's going to fix your problems, and that's what makes you cope with life.
No, this is a bad argument, right? Again, whether or not... religion is accurate, or whether or not there really was a divine person named Jesus that existed and God is not contingent upon whether or not people think that they're going to fix their issues, right? Again, I believe it's the case that most denominations of Christianity actually don't believe that, right? Because again, it's all about free will, right? That's sort of like a fundamental / core aspect.
It's an indoctrination of cope. That's all fucking Christianity is, man.
Not necessarily, right? Like, again, there's not really any evidence to suggest that it's an accurate worldview, but I wouldn't say it's just cope, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a coping mechanism, so I would say that this assertion isn't based on anything either.
Now, like I said, I'm an evidential person, and I believe in what I see. If I ever did.
This is also a bad argument that most Christians would be able to argue against, right? So, like, whether or not you can see something doesn't determine whether or not it's real, right? So, like, it's the case that, like, you can't see electrons, but that doesn't mean that they're not real. Like, or you can't see other solar systems, but that doesn't mean that they're not real, right? So it really depends on, like, I guess what you mean by see, but I guess you would argue that, like, there's not evidence, right? There's not sufficient evidence, right? But to say that it's not real because I can't see it, right? This is something that's really easy for, like, a Christian presuppositionalist to argue against, right? Because they could just be like, well, there are plenty of things that you can't see that you would agree that are real, right? Like for thousands of years, like, we couldn't see, like, other galaxies, like, beyond, like, oh, what's in the night sky? Like, we couldn't see atoms or electrons or anything like that, but that's real, right? So, like, why would this be fundamentally any different, right? And you wouldn't be able to draw any, like, real distinction aside from being able to use hindsight, but that doesn't really work, right? So I'd be careful if you were like if you're gonna make an argument like this, you got to be careful, right?
Feel what everyone else in that room at church feels. If I ever did have a divine encounter with God, a divine intervention, then as I said, man, I would be going to church every Sunday, and I would.
Okay, so this is a fundamental misunderstanding, right? Because if you're gonna argue that it's not real, right? But you believe that, okay, but I'd believe it was real if I were to have a divine encounter. What you're failing to understand is that there are people that perceive to have had divine encounters, right? So you would have to have an explanation of that, right? People in the world that you exist in, from your perspective, have had what they perceive to be divine encounters, right? So you'd have to have some sort of explanation for that or account for that, right? Now you could be like, okay, well that's just a chemical reaction that occurs within their brain, right? Or something psychologically convincing them that they had a divine encounter, right? And that functions as well. But then if it's the case that you were to have what the same experience, what you perceive to be a divine encounter, that doesn't necessarily make God any more real, right? So this doesn't work as an argument either.
I would be worshipping him. But the thing is, I just don't have that in me. Like, there is no evidence that Jesus exists. It's kind of one of those things.
Right, but if you were to have a divine encounter, that's still not sufficient evidence, right? Like, or what you perceive to be a divine encounter, right? Because you don't know if that's something that exists in actuality or if that's just an illusion, right? You don't know, right? And oftentimes people only have what they perceive to be divine encounters if they already believe in whatever religion and whatever, right? Like,
man, where you have to have it in you. It's like, and this is, and I think, you know, religion and the black pill really go hand in hand, man, because, you know,
they really don't.
On one hand,
off topic, but you're so pretty, Femi. Thank you, Lon.
like before you take the black pill, and I've known about this even before I even knew that the black pill, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, man, like, you know, you go your whole life believing that Jesus is going to save you. Jesus is going to fix your problems.
No, that's a misinterpretation of Christianity, right? Like, again, I don't agree with Christianity, but like, no, the idea behind it is not that Jesus is going to fix all your problems, right? If Jesus is going to save you, it's going to be from your own sin, right? But you have free will, right? So it's not going to like fix all of your problems in your lifetime, right? It's more along the lines of saving you from going to hell for your sins because whatever. The idea is that like that you're an imperfect being, but Jesus died for your sins. So regardless of that fact, you're still worthy of going to heaven because you're not actually worthy, but Jesus forgives you. Therefore, right? That's sort of the idea behind it, right? Again, I don't think that there's any evidence to suggest that this is something that happens in actuality, but.
And then later in life, man, you start to work shit out. And you come to the realization that he doesn't fucking exist. Like, Jesus, hello, Jesus, Jesus-y, hello, you there, man? Yo, oh, he's not here. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. Fuck off, cunt. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, he's not fucking there. Hello, Jesus, where are you?
Well, I guess the more logical claim would be that there's no evidence that he's there, right? Because again, you can't prove a negative, right? You have to be careful. You have to be careful with an unfalsifiable claim if you're going to argue against it, right?
Show yourself, darling.
Did he just say Jesus? See, I wish. No, I don't think he did.
See what I mean? He doesn't fucking exist, man.
Controversial opinion, I know. But yeah, I just don't think this guy is all that smart. Yeah, me neither.
And if he existed...
Do you support India rights? Yes.
Don't you think I would have had some of my so-called prayers answered by now? Like, if Jesus was real, why do I still not have a fucking job?
What? Again, I'm not religious, but this is a terrible argument. Like, because free will? Like, Jesus doesn't give you everything, right? This is a terrible argument against Christianity.
Why am I still fucking poor?
Bro, what? That's not how... Oh my fucking god. Like, I don't think he understands the religion that he's supposedly criticizing. Like, this is like a parody of Reddit atheists. Like, oh, well, why do bad things happen if Jesus is real? Like, this is such a bad surface level argument. Like, maybe it could be a starting point for your analysis, but that shouldn't be your analysis in of itself.
Why was I born short? Why was I born ugly? Why don't I have a fucking girlfriend? Why am
I don't know, maybe because you view women as property.
unable to move forward in life despite praying to Jesus? Prayed and prayed.
Because the idea behind it is that you have free will and that you have to do things yourself. Like,
I prayed more than the average
it's like you have to understand religion before you critique it.
fucking person, man. and I didn't get fuck all. So you consider the average person prays less than me. Yeah, okay, they get everything they want. I prayed more than the
No, that's not how it works. It wouldn't be on the basis of whether or not they pray, right?
average fucker out there, man. And I didn't get fuck all, mate. Or I didn't feel fuck all, mate. You know what I'm saying, bro? And that's the fucking problem, is that you're all putting your fucking faith into something that there's never been any evidence of existing.
Okay, yes, the lack of evidence is the one argument that you should go down, right? Like there's not really any evidence to suggest that there actually is a God or that Jesus is somebody that existed and was divine, right? That's the line of reason you should go down. You should not make a negative claim saying that God didn't answer my prayers, therefore he isn't real, right? Because that's going to be easy for any presuppositionalist with any ounce of debate knowledge. Like they're going to fucking tear you apart, right? If you make an argument like that.
Like, you know, the thing is, man, you know, when people who claim to, you know, I'm going to break this down and talk about the science behind religion. You know, again, you Christian people are not going to want to hear this, but it's the fucking truth, man, okay?
Yeah, what about me as an atheist who's criticizing your bad arguments? All right, I'm going to hear you out.
When you really, really believe in something, it becomes part of who you are.
To an extent, sure, yeah.
Like, when you were a kid and you believed in Father Christmas, your belief around Santa Claus was so strong.
That's true.
All the kids at school, you know, told you he's not real, he's not real. No, Santa's real. You know, I heard footsteps at Christmas. You know, all the cookies that we left him were gone. You know what I'm saying, bro? And the thing is, man, like, you know, you start to really believe that. And it becomes part of who you are.
Sort of, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of difficult to say.
But then you get to about 12, 13, and your parents finally sit down and tell you the truth.
Damn, he had to wait till he was 12 or 13 to find out. Jesus, no wonder why everybody was saying it's fake. Bro, I found that shit out when I was like 9 or 10 maybe.
That he's not real, that it was just them that were giving you the presents while you were sleeping the whole time. And Christianity really is a lot like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is so much easier to disprove the myth of Jesus and God.
No, this is a fundamental misunderstanding. You don't disprove it. That's not how it works. It's an unfalsifiable claim. The difference there is that Santa existing is a falsifiable claim. It's been falsified, right? You can't falsify religion. Like, this is a fundamental misunderstanding, right? You don't falsify it. You instead make the argument that there's simply no evidence to suggest that this is an accurate representation of reality. All you have to do is take the philosophically agnostic position, right? I can't prove that there is no God, right? But there's no logical reason or evidence to suggest that there is not only a God, but also it must necessarily be the Christian God the way that humans have depicted it, right? That's the line of reasoning to go down.
Then it is to prove it. I am not anti-religion. Like, I would love to believe in Jesus Christ. Believe me, I would.
Okay.
But I'm too strong in the mind, and I see...
It has nothing to do with the strength in the mind, right? Like, whether or not you're strong in the mind doesn't determine whether or not you believe in Christianity. These two aren't... It's just whatever.
Straight through people. You know, I'm too strong in the mind to be able to do that, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, that doesn't make you strong in the mind. Like, all of the reasons you've listed for not believing in Christianity are very surface level, like Reddit atheist reasons. Like, no.
Like, the other thing too is for people who have prayed and prayed and prayed and have seen results, these are all just random things that have occurred. Like, no disrespect to anyone who has cancer, but if you're a
no disrespect to anyone who has cancer, but this ought to be good.
Cancer survivor, and you know you prayed to Jesus to cure you of your cancer, and you ended up getting cured. That was sheer luck, mate. That's because.
I guess the argument you could make here is that if I guess a better way of putting it would be like something along the lines of being religious or praying to Jesus or whatever doesn't increase the statistical likelihood of you surviving any given type of cancer, right? Like there's no there's no merit. So it's going to be the case that praying for somebody that has cancer or praying if you have cancer has no statistical bearing on the outcome, right? So that'd sort of be the argument, right? Yeah.
Because you had a very good medical team who knew what the fuck they were doing, who gave you the right.
I mean, maybe. I mean, yeah, that's gonna, again, I guess the angle I would go for is like, more along the lines of not the medical team, but, I guess just like the statistical probability of being cured of your cancer if you do/don't pray, absent of all other variables. Like if all other variables are controlled for, I mean.
Right treatment. You know, I pray to Jesus that, you know, I get home safe tonight. Yeah, you got home safe, man, but again, that was sheer luck. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm very, very sorry to have to tell this to you, man, but, you know, this is what the blue pill fails to acknowledge. Is that you got to judge your life, your current events, and your future based on facts.
How does the quote unquote blue pill fail to acknowledge that? Like, I'm a little bit confused. Like, okay, I don't know.
But again, you know, people's minds are so powerful. This is where people's mentalities are at. People's minds are so fucking powerful that
I don't know if yours is, mate. I'm gonna be completely honest. No offense.
They're so convinced that God and Jesus is real, that God's real, that they feel.
I don't know. Maybe the same way that you're convinced that it's everybody else's fault and not yours. That you can't get bitches. Like whenever you make your like weird like incel rants, where you blame women because 90% of women are to blame, or whatever the fuck, right? Like when you like believe something so strongly and you don't question it or I don't know, use any facts, logic, or reasoning, or okay.
Feel that they really truly believe it. Whereas
that's like you with like your weird incel stuff though. Like you're no different. You just have like these weird irrational beliefs for something different.
with me, man, I'm not going to believe in Jesus and the Holy Gospel and Christianity until I actually see some evidence that he exists.
Well, yeah, Sam, obviously, like I'm not gonna believe in something without evidence, but that's the line of reasoning you should go down, not the like the weird like, well, here's like proof that he's not real. That's not the line of reasoning you would want to go down.
When I see some evidence that he exists, when I actually see some fucking proof, then I'll start going back to church again, man. But I'm not gonna like put my heart into something that I know isn't gonna work. Like, really, that's all it is, man. And if you really are that strongly indoctrinated in this Christian culture and you really believe...
But that's like you with incel culture is the thing. Like, all of it is a form of indoctrination. It's just like in different areas, right? Like, you might not be religiously indoctrinated, but are you any different? Are you any different when it comes to, like, the whole fucking... whatchamacallit? Anyways... Oh. I think that's gonna do it for today's stream. I'm getting a little bit tired. I guess the average view duration ended up being... Okay, this is really interesting. Okay, so if you look here, average view duration is now 54 seconds. Okay, interesting. So here's where it recommended it to people. So I think what happened is it recommended it to a shit ton of people. That decreased the average view duration. Okay. And, yeah. So that, okay, W stream, hell yeah. Anyways, that was interesting. That was interesting. I wonder if maybe it's preferable to, like, I don't know, like, disperse my energy, like, throughout the stream, rather than, like, using as much of it as I can all at once. I don't know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, because obviously you, like, lose energy over time, you know. But, yeah. I had fun. I had a good W chat, love you guys. Hell yeah. The bells, hell yeah. Oh my god, I'm tired. This stream wasn't even 4 hours. Why am I so tired? That's crazy. I will be pointing out anytime they ring. No, you can't. Nope. Impossible. What are you gonna do? Chat every 1 second? Epios? Yeah, I am Epi. Epi sleepy. Bye chat and Femyoz. Hell yeah. Dude, I love how you could just like tell whenever there's like a raid. It's like, dude. It's like, it's so fucking obvious. I'm gonna say anything while it was happening though. Like, did they think that I was gonna give them attention? He's rating Sabrina now? Wait, that's actually really fucking based. Wait, is Cobson rating Sabrina? Because, like, I know it's Cobson talks. Like, it's so fucking obvious whenever it's him. Like, dude, what in the fuck is this thumbnail? Jesus Christ. Dude, that's so fucking based, bro. Wait, dude, rare Cobson W? Wait, what the fuck?
Never said I wasn't.
Dude, wait.
Wait, Fastbird, I think we're gonna wait till they, Z freaking goes into a building.
Dude, wait.
Ask
Dude, what
where
is
are you
this?
going next? Ask where, what?
So make sure, moderators,
Dude, what is this audio?
make sure that we go ahead and pin those comments so we can get people to report them, please.
Damn, this isn't.
Pin the
Dude, this is
com- I don't think
crazy.
you pin comments on stream.
So
what
go
is
ahead
this?
and you guys
Dude.
go ahead and report
Dude, watching my ops fight each other.
Casey for harassment and for
Dude, I might have to watch this
I
tomorrow.
will read the DM soon, hold on.
thank
I'm gonna
you,
have to watch this
Chanel.
tomorrow. Dude, this is just gonna be like such a weird, like.
Own the chud, sister.
Aaron, I didn't say for you to delete the comment or ban the person out right now.
I asked you.
I said to report them. They can't report them when there's no comment to report.
You fucking stupid Jenny!
How are you gonna report somebody when there's nothing here to report?
You
Doesn't
stupid
make
fucking
sense.
Jenny!
Oh my god.
Don't worry.
Probably Wendy's. I need to get out.
Bro, this is interesting. I'll have to, like, go back to the VOD.
Really good.
Wait, they're going into Red Robin. Please, 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 let's wait. Let's wait. They need to go to Red Robin.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Steely?
Please, we need to have their fucking Red Robin experience. No fucking way. Please,
Oh, God.
please, please, please.
Yeah.
Please, we need
I was
to wait.
thinking about
We
going
need
to Red
wait.
Robin
We need
right
to
now.
wait. We need to wait.
Because
this one
sometimes
out.
this stream makes me want to drink.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. What is this overlay? I'm sorry.
It's right here.
Let's go to Red Robin!
Is this a transphobe vid? Well, it's two ops fighting each other. I don't like either of these people.
Red Robin, they're gonna sit down and eat. That's the funny part.
Yes, honey.
Read your DMs. Okay, fuck. Why? Why do you
Dude,
want me
what
to
is
read DMs?
this?
You're spamming me.
Okay, this is fucking boring. All right, I'll watch it later. I don't care. I'll like watch the VOD and see if there's anything interesting. You don't like trans people? No, I don't like Sabrina TW specifically because she's weird and annoying. And she dude, she's like a lol cow. Anyways. I mean, I myself am trans. Why wouldn't I like trans people? Yeah, no, Sabrina is like a fucking trans meta retard, so yeah. It's like, dude, I'm sorry, but... Yeah, no, that person's a fucking loser. She's like, actually, I don't think that you should be allowed to get puberty blockers. And I'm like, why? So that trans women are forced to look like you when they're older? Like, Jesus Christ. Sabrina doesn't like trans people. She calls herself a quote-unquote transsexual to differentiate. No, literally. It's like the saddest thing ever. It's like she literally looks and acts like the conservative stereotype against trans people is the funny thing. And like she tries to be a fucking pick-me. One more fit check before stream's over? Hell yeah. One more. One fucking more, yeah. Anyways. Oh, fuck. I'm tired. I mean, do I keep streaming? Maybe. But yeah, no, she's like actually like insane. She's like an insane right-winger. Very pretty. Why, thank you. You're so sweet. Oh. That was such a high energy stream too. Oh man. Oh. I'm tired. Do we go to the 4-hour mark? I don't know. I think I might as well just end it. I like trans women as long as they're not me or real. Sabrina's also report happy that we'll just encourage them, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like feel free to like document like the beef between them in case like the VODs go down. I don't know. I don't know if Cobson keeps his VODs up or like if Sabrina will. I don't know. I wanna react to Sabrina freaking out. So yeah, feel free to like archive anything, screen record, or whatever it may be. I'm gonna end stream. Yeah, maybe that'll be tomorrow's content if there's anything good. I just don't feel like waiting for like, because I think Cobson is gonna fucking slow burn it or whatever. I can't tell. I don't know. It's like, Cobson's irritating. It's only funny if it's like, I don't know, somebody that will like freak out. Then it's like kind of funny. It's like weird when he like does it to like my channel though, because like I just don't react to it. I think he's just like trying to get me to like call him or whatever.